Hey guys, welcome to another weekly Saturday live Q&A, starting late as usual because that's how we do it here, even though it's only literally 4 minutes late. So anyways, I am Griffin Schiller, as always, host of FilmSpeak here. And if you guys didn't catch the live stream yesterday, I gave a little, preface talking about everything that's going on in the world right now, the Black Lives Matter movement and whatnot. And I let you guys all know that all of the money that we get from monetization from not only the stream yesterday, but this stream today, super chats, and the Streamlabs link, which is in the description down below, will be going to the Black Lives Matter global network, so they can take that money and disperse it where it's most needed. So if you do want a question asked and you want to give to a great cause, I highly recommend doing that. But we like to have fun on these Saturday Q&As, and while there's horrific things going on in the world right now, we're going to try and make this a nice distraction, and also support something very important going on right now. But I am joined by three incredible guests, one of which you've seen before, but two of which you have not seen before. So this should be a good time. So first of all, you know him, you love him, Mr. Chris Parker from 3C Film Review. Chris, why did you make us late? This is
so
all your
sorry.
fault. You were.
If I'm being completely honest, 13 reasons why the final season dropped. I had to jump on that. Not really. My girlfriend's making me watch that.
Wow,
and
that's what it was.
One episode in, and I already hate it.
Good. I mean, the fact that it... we'll probably talk about this.
Yeah,
I
will.
have a feeling. But the fact that it got more than one season,
I can't believe.
I've never understood it.
They're really stretching it this final one.
I know, absolutely, for sure. But another person joining us today is Hannah from the Cinemania World podcast. Hannah, have you been watching season 3 or season, what the hell season is it?
4,
season 4 of 13 Reasons
Yeah,
Why.
I watched the very last episode because I did watch the first season and I actually mildly liked it, and then I really hated the second and third, and then I just decided to skip over all the episodes in the fourth season, just watch the actual last episode. It's like feature length and it's awful.
Wow. I just, you know what? F it. We're going to spoil it right here. What happens? Wait,
in the last...
Yes, we're going to spoil it right here.
Okay, so
man. Okay, well,
yeah, you're watching it.
Oh wait, I thought you finished.
I at least want to be so. No, I'm one episode in.
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
That's why I was like, really?
Yeah, I want to hear it. Well, you can tell me later. That's fine. Anyways, and then we've got our final guest, Mr. Christian from Film Optics. Christian, hold up. My name is covering your face.
It's all good, man.
Make sure that doesn't happen. Whoop. Anyways, tell everyone how you're doing.
I'm doing pretty good, man. It's a Saturday. We're chilling. We're having this great live stream. It's a perfect distraction for everything that's going on, and I think it's just time to be chill and just hang out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you been watching 13 Reasons Why?
Fuck no. I actually stopped after. So I actually stopped after season 2. I was going to watch season 3, and then I asked my friend, I'm like, just tell me what happens. So she told me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to bother even watching it. And so there's season 4, and I'm like, how did this make it 4 seasons? Should have stopped
I don't know. I don't get it. They're milking a really touchy and sensitive issue that requires actual attention, maybe a thoughtful piece of television or
which I think is why they don't even market it anymore. Season 1 and 2, they pushed it as hard as Stranger Things, and now they just dump it open to silently not get any drama towards Netflix.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Nope.
I brought up yesterday that it's crazy to think that Netflix has all the free reign to do whatever they want with the show. There's no rating that they have to stick to something, because I thought about how the Fosters on Freeform tackled a whole bunch of these issues, and they did it so much better, and it's on Freeform, and I'm like, Netflix, you don't have any restrictions on this. What is not clicking?
They can go places, right? Yeah, they can tell it how is it. Yeah, it's that's really funny that you bring that up, because my sister, I believe, used to watch The Fosters, and it was one of those things where it's I remember her coming in and she was like, "Wow, this is actually for an ABC family or whatever a freeform show. It's it's actually really
it is really
not
good,
bad.
and it tackles a lot of stuff and they execute it well, and it's educational and purposeful. It's a really good show.
Yeah, no, for sure. again, I never really watched the freeform stuff and whatnot, but like the fact that 13 Reasons Why was like Netflix attempt at one of those shows, and they could have gone places, and like the first season was actually like decent, and then they just, I don't know, they kept going back to the well in like weird ways, and I don't know. I remember I finished the second season. I was just like, what? Like, why are we continuing this? And also, why are we trying to redeem the rapist in this show?
Yeah,
like,
that made no
sense.
sense.
I stopped
no
with
sense whatsoever.
Season 3.
Yeah,
I watched one full episode of it, and that's because I went and seen pretty much it live and had to watch it while they were like commentating over it. And even then, I was like, "Geesh." Ugh.
Yeah, it's not okay. So, but other than, before we get into some of the questions here, but also if you are watching this live, be sure to leave your questions in the live chat. We will get to those. What has everyone been watching recently? Just like, it doesn't have to be obviously other than 13 Reasons Why, movies, television, whatever.
I did see that Kevin James horror movie just out of pure interest, and while it does have a lot of cool gore in it, it is a B, maybe even D level horror movie. It's not that good.
Yeah,
with Becky.
Is he good in it?
He's not as raw as you would like him to be. Like, I wanted just to see him step into that role, but he's not even that, I guess, that frightening in it.
It's one of those like try hard kind of roles where it's like, oh,
kind of.
Kevin James. Kevin James should be like, really going there, but he's just like, maybe this wasn't the right role.
Kevin James trying to do Nicolas Cage is what it seemed like from like the trailers to me, at least.
Yeah. I definitely got that. Christian, what have you been watching?
So I've been binging a lot of stuff on HBO Max. I've been getting into Doom Patrol for the first time ever. So it's really, really good. I like it a lot. And I've been rewatching Big Bang Theory and rewatching a few Studio Ghibli films as well. So
nice.
What's Studio Ghibli films?
Oh my gosh. I finished my favorite one, Howl's Moving Castle, Whispers of the Heart, Nausicaa in the Sky, Princess Mononoke, so many. I'm just going through all of them. So
yeah. No, it's fun. I'm so happy that HBO Max has all those movies, and it's just another reason to subscribe to that service. I don't know about you guys, I've actually been kind of impressed with HBO Max a little bit. Like, I know they don't have
I love it.
Yeah, like they don't have original content right out the gate, but like the stuff that the legacy content that they have is amazing. I mean, first of all, their classic film selection just kind of blows every other streaming service other than the Criterion channel out of the water. So that's like a big plus for me. Plus, like, I love Looney Tunes. It's great to have those back. And actually the new Looney Tunes, I started watching those. They're fun. They're not bad. And then then obviously the DC films and whatnot. So I don't know. I've really, really been loving HBO Max.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I have. I mean, pitting it up against like Disney Plus. Like Disney Plus has a lot of great stuff, but it's like it really hinders itself because it is a family streaming app, or fun for the whole family. But you have HBO Max, which is built for more of a mature audience, and they have some kid stuff on there, but it's just I like it a lot. I think it's a great bang for your buck. I actually wanted to ask you guys really quick, because I know I see a lot of people online have been kind of bickering about this. Does having no 4K streaming for HBO Max, is that a deal breaker for you guys, or is that like a feature you actually care about?
Not really. I mean, I care about it, but like not like enough to be like, oh, I don't want HBO Max, or I'm not going to use HBO Max.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people out there who are like very pissed. I'm like,
I mean,
big of a deal,
right? What it comes down to is like, do you have 4K capabilities? And I know a lot of people have 4K TVs right now. I personally do not, so that just, I don't even care about that. And then like, 90% of the time I'm watching this stuff on my laptop at the moment. So like it doesn't really matter there either. But I think, it's a feature that they need to add for sure, like definitely down the road. But it's not a deal breaker. Like, so what?
Yeah. That's
Chris.
To me, it's more about content. Like, I do hop on HBO Max every now and then, and I don't know. I just feel like, especially with us, we see almost everything that comes out. So there's there's really nothing there for me yet. And then they're still doing that thing where they're going to be recycling movies in and out every month, which I guess it's just part of their business model, which I don't understand that. If you have something on there and you own it, why not just leave it on there? Why do you have to take it in and out every month?
Well, that's like the HBO side of it, I guess. Is just because like them is like the premium cable channel, like, you know, they're constantly cycling their films. But I agree with you. If you're paying for HBO Max, maybe keeping some of those movies on your platform as a mainstay would be ideal. I mean, I don't think it's gonna hurt people. Like, Netflix switches films out every now and then, so does Amazon Prime.
But that made sense because it was like a licensing thing. Like, Netflix didn't own, you know, Wonder Woman or the Marvel movies. It's like that would make sense. But like, if you're the studio that owns them and these are your movies, what's the point of taking them out? You know, that was just fine.
Or keeping them from coming in too. Like with DC Universe, like even Crunchyroll, like Warner Brothers owns all of that. Why is that not on HBO Max?
I don't know. Maybe it's stuff that'll like, you know, pop on there later on. But anyways, guys, we're gonna start getting to your live questions now. I see we got a super chat in there, which I'm definitely going to address. But for those of you watching, all of the proceeds from monetization, super chats, and Streamlabs will be going to Black Lives Matter. And so, if you want to donate, definitely feel free to do so with super chats. Just know that YouTube takes like a good percentage of the cut. I would recommend that you guys head on over to Streamlabs and donate there. That way, all of your money goes towards Black Lives Matter. So, okay, let's address the super chat that we just got. So Eric Thorpe asks, will we ever get a Game of Thrones sequel, series, or movie? And how do you feel about the series now? Hannah, let's start with you.
I was like a casual Game of Thrones fan. Like, I watched it all and I really liked it. I wasn't like one of those people that was like mad about season 8, and so I like Game of Thrones. I think it'd be cool to like get, because there's like prequel like series stuff, like talks maybe, I think, if I'm remembering right. I think it'd be cool to see it. I think we will probably, because Game of Thrones was so big, but
yeah, for sure. Christian?
So I am like I belong to like the 5% of the fan base who loved season 8. I do agree that it was a bit rushed. Like, I think season 7 and season 8 should have been 10 seasons. But I know that they are creating, there were supposed to be 2 Game of Thrones prequels in the works. One was supposed to be dealing with the first Long Night, which they talk about more in the books that I've read. I absolutely love the books. I'm still waiting on Winds of Winter to come out, but it's been like 10 years.
I know, man. It's just like, come on.
And they are making a House of Dragons prequel, which covers the Targaryen reign during Westeros. So when they pretty much took over the 7 kingdoms. And so, yeah, I think I think a prequel series is in order. I'm all down for it. I absolutely, I love the books. I love the show. I own all seasons on Blu-ray, so I'm all for it.
Yeah. I kind of in the same camp as you in terms of season 8. I don't think season 8 is great, but it's like people kind of complaining about like Daenerys' turn, and then like some of the other like minute details about like where characters went. To me, it all felt like that was the direction that it was all heading. Now, what it should have been was season 7 should have been them handling the White Walkers. That's what that should have been, because that entire plot needed a full season, and I hated The Long Night. I thought it was an awful episode. I couldn't even see I literally could not see what was going on. Like, that was just a major issue. But and then season 8 should have been like, you know, dealing with Cersei and Daenerys' rise and, you know, becoming the Mad Queen and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know, for what we got and the direction that they took it in. I mean, like, it was fine. I've seen worse endings to series. Like, do people just magically forget Dexter exists? Like, like, hands down.
Sopranos.
The Sopranos. Well, The Sopranos is like hit or miss for some people. That's another divisive one. Yeah. But anyways, Chris, what are your thoughts on this? Would you like to see a prequel sequel series?
I'm like the 2% of the world who just never got into Game of Thrones, so I couldn't add much to the conversation. But I mean, if they made a movie, I'd for sure be there. But I was gonna hop on the Game of Thrones bandwagon, but then I just started hearing all this bad stuff about the last season from most of the people. I was like, is it worth spending whatever amount of time it would take to binge it? But yeah, I'd be down for a movie.
Yeah, don't let the last season dissuade you. Honestly, if you are still interested in watching the show, it's
Watch
still
it.
like a phenomenal
Okay.
series for sure.
Yeah.
Just don't go in necessarily expecting like the
Closure?
most action-packed explosion,
Oh,
like
okay.
stuff like that, because it deals with the people and the conflict and the struggle for power and stuff like that. That's always been the big thing about Game of Thrones, and so like you get those action beats for sure, but it's not all about that. So if you kind of just like go in expecting that, I think you'll enjoy it for what it is for sure.
Okay.
As for me, I mean, I'd be down to see it. I'd love going back to Westeros and stuff like that. I think it's just a fun world to be in. And what they were also planning something with like Nicole Kidman in it, right?
They
like she
were.
was supposed to be, and then they scrapped it.
I
Was that supposed
think
to be a
she-
sequel or prequel series?
I think that was a prequel. I think she was supposed to be a part of the second prequel that they scrapped with the first Long Night, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think so. I haven't read too much into it, or actually I haven't even heard anything else about it. So
Yeah.
I don't know
mean,
when
that-
it's coming out, but
I don't, or if it's coming out now, I guess. But yeah, that would have been really interesting to see, just because you get a talent like her in there. It's like, well, okay, all right, what's going on now? But similar to I think what you were saying, Christian, if they were gonna go a route, I'd rather see a prequel route than the sequel route. But it'll inevitably happen for sure. Okay, no. So, question here from Tony Movie Chappie, D9 Neil Blomkamp, #1 fan, asking. Hey, what are your thoughts on Disney remaking The Black Cauldron? So I don't know if it's necessarily been confirmed that they're making The Black Cauldron, but I believe that's probably one of the ones that they would go back to if they were going to remake something. But Hannah, what are your thoughts on Disney possibly remaking The Black Cauldron?
I actually have no idea what that is. I don't.
You're not alone.
I don't know
Hannah.
if I'm like too young or what. So is it like a live? Is it like an animated? They're trying to make it in a live action.
Yeah. So it was one of those
mean-
Disney movies that came out in the 80s that like no one saw or like really liked. It kind of just like it was during that weird period in Disney's time where they like in between their like golden age and the Renaissance. And like it's got a pretty big cult following, but it's super dark and just like weird, and I don't know. It'd be an interesting live action, I think. But I don't know, Christian, have you seen Black Cauldron?
No, I haven't seen it, but I know of it. One of my friends literally he showed me some article that I think it was from We Got This Covered, but we all know how. And I was like, I hate to break it to you, mate, but they're not very, reliable.
Yeah.
They don't have this covered, is really what you're saying.
Yeah, no.
I think it has to deal with like a King Arthur-esque something.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
That's all I really know about it. So he kept talking about it, kind of just tuned him out, but that's fine.
Yeah. Well, anyways, if you guys are looking for like a nice little like underrated Disney movie from the 80s that's not a musical and deals with like a demon king and this literally a talking dog that is like the most annoying fucking animal ever. Yeah, go check out The Black Cauldron. Okay, moving on. So Kieran Langer asks thoughts on the Cloverfield movies. Hannah, let's start with you again.
I love them. The third one, I think it's kind of known that everyone doesn't like that movie. But I love the first two. I love Cloverfield, and then I love 10 Cloverfield Lane. 10 Cloverfield Lane was one of my favorite movies of that year.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean like that's 10 Cloverfield Lane is fucking phenomenal. Like if Cloverfield continued in that direction, like the really small self-contained stuff, I'm all in for that. I'm all in for that. But yeah, Paradox was awful. Like, it was so bad. They like dropped it after the Super Bowl. I remember that. And I was just like,
I just felt so bad for Daniel Bruhl. I love him, and I think he's great. And I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna be in this like big movie on Netflix. And then I watched it, and I was like, oh man.
Well, I remember that thing was in like development for the longest time. It was called God Particle for a while, and it had like David Oyelowo in it, and like and everyone. And I was like, oh wow, this could be really interesting. I don't know whether it was confirmed it was a Cloverfield film or not, but I guess they didn't go anywhere with it, and then it became Cloverfield Paradox. and oh boy. But,
Big Cloverfield
anyways,
fans think that like every like sci-fi movie that's coming out might be like a secret Cloverfield movie.
Yeah,
And
I
think
remember
it's
they thought that
hilarious.
of Quiet Place. Before
Yeah.
Quiet Place
Quiet
came out,
Place.
everyone
Yeah.
thought that was a Cloverfield movie.
yeah, Quiet Place, Overlord. Well, actually, I think Overlord at one point in time was a Cloverfield film, but then they scrapped it or something like that,
Mhm.
which thank God, because that did not need to be a Cloverfield movie. But Chris, what are your thoughts on the Cloverfield films?
No, yeah, because that's the one reason I didn't watch the most recent one is because I heard that it wasn't a Cloverfield movie, that they just kind of like ad-libbed or redubbed some like Cloverfield names throughout it to rebrand it that way because it didn't come out the way they wanted to. But I'm a big fan of the first two, especially 10 Cloverfield Lane. I actually like that one better than the first one.
Yeah,
I do want them to continue this series. I think it's a cool little self-contained anthology. But it does bring up the good question of like, if you slap the name Cloverfield, will it make it more popular or could it do better on its own? Because like if it was called God Particle, would it have its own cult following? If A Quiet Place was just labeled Cloverfield, which you could easily do and just say it was like the future of where the Cloverfield is headed with these smaller monsters, would that have gotten the big praise, or would have they just been called another entry into the Cloverfield movies that would have gotten forgotten? I just think it's kind of interesting that you could just slap the name Cloverfield, and because of the way the franchise works, being so mysterious and surrounding monsters, they could basically be any sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, Christian.
So I have a confession to make.
Are you gonna say you haven't seen them?
Yes.
I knew it.
You're good.
I've never seen them. There's a lot of films I've seen, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've been meaning to get around to them. I have like a huge list of stuff I've been meaning to get around.
Oh, we
to.
all do.
Yeah, sure. I'm all for it.
No, fair enough. I think with Cloverfield, it's like literally the only bad one is Paradox, and I think sadly that really soured people on the idea of more Cloverfield films, because then it just became gimmicky. I don't know about you guys, but I remember going to see some movie in like January or February, and then like having that trailer for 10 Cloverfield Lane just like drop out of nowhere and say, "Oh, we're coming out in a month," and I'm like,
"Oh yeah,
what? Like, what is this? This is
I had no
bonkers."
idea that it was even like a new Cloverfield movie was coming out, and then like out of nowhere, I heard people talking about it, and I was like, that movie from 2014 got a sequel?
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild. Truth be told, I think the first Cloverfield, it's probably one of the best found footage films just like out there. And Matt Reeves made it. And you can
I forgot about that.
I know it's kind of nuts to think about that after the Apes films, but yeah, man. Oh, I love the first two. They're so good. I think the second one is just like an amazing Hitchcock style, really claustrophobic thriller. John Goodman is unreal in that movie.
Unreal. Yeah.
But okay, so moving away from Cloverfield into super chat from Film Geeks. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate the super chat. Just know that your money is going to go to an amazing cause to help the Black Lives Matter movement. So thank you so much for that. He's asking, are you excited for the upcoming Pete Davidson movie, The King of Staten Island? Well, I think we have to defer to Hannah first, right?
I was gonna say this is my lane.
Yeah, right. This is all you.
Well, I've never been a huge fan of Pete Davidson. Like I watch SNL and me and my dad, that's like our thing. But when Big Ten Adolescence was announced, I heard a ton of stuff out of Sundance, and people were like, "Oh my God, this Pete Davidson movie, Machine Gun Kelly," and I was like, weird. And then I like heard like what it was about and stuff like that, and I was like, this seems like right up my lane. Like this is gonna be my favorite movie whenever it comes out. And then it like never came out, and then it finally came out this year, and it's my favorite movie of the year so far. Not that there's a lot, but like hands down, it's absolutely one of my favorite movies of all time now. It's just it's completely like a movie that is all me. I love it so much, and he's great in it. And I think that his performance is so like, it's weird to like be like, oh well, he plays himself, but like it's so like nuanced even though it is himself. It's hard to explain if you haven't seen the movie. I'm not a huge fan of Judd Apatow though, so I don't know. I'm excited to see Pete in another movie and maybe him not be himself, even though I think it is like about him. But yeah.
I think the thing that gets me excited about King of Staten Island, because I agree with you. I mean, I don't crucify me. I have yet to see Big Time Adolescence, but I've only heard great things about it, and I know it's on Hulu.
I haven't seen it either.
I should go watch it. But
very good, very good.
But I've never been the Pete Davidson fan either. I mean, I didn't even think he was really that funny on SNL. There were like other
No,
cast
he's
members.
not.
I was like, why are they not bigger than him? This is just he's only big because he's dating like
Yeah, exactly. We know
some of the hottest like celebrities in Hollywood and stuff. So, but this movie, King of Staten Island, and like just seeing the trailers, or the trailer, knowing the premise, knowing how personal of a story it is to him, like that gets me really excited because I think it's not just gonna be another Judd Apatow comedy. Like it looks like there's a lot of heart in it, and a lot of Pete Davidson in that film, and so that's what gets me excited about that. I tried to get a screener. Unfortunately, I was denied. But whatever. I'll catch you next week. It's all good. But Christian, are you excited for King of Staten Island?
Yes, I am. Like Hannah, I did enjoy Big Time Adolescence very, very much. I know other people may say otherwise, but that's fine. But yeah, I'm excited for it. You know, I could use some more Pete Davidson in my life. So does it?
In his movies, he doesn't give off that like vibe that he does on SNL. Because like he's kind of unlikable and like watching SNL. Like he doesn't feel like very like personable. But like it's completely like different in the movies. Like with Big Time Adolescence, you automatically just latch onto his character within like the first like 10 minutes of like because the like I guess vibe he has in the movie.
Right.
It's weird, and it seems like that in the trailers of like the King of Staten Island too.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, Chris, are you excited?
Oh yeah, big excited. I am a big Judd Apatow fan. More excited, surprised no one's mentioned it yet, for Bill Burr. You know, I feel like he hasn't gotten a lot of like movie roles where he just pops in kind of cameos. Like the last thing I feel like I remember seeing him in a movie was that little cameo at the end of like Daddy's Home where he has a dance off with Will Ferrell. You know, so I'm kind of excited to see him, back and forth with Pete Davidson and how he does that role, and the fact that it is a personal story. You know, his dad died on 9/11 as a firefighter. Now this, so like. I think it could be formal. This could have been a great movie to come out in theaters, and it sucks that it had to go straight to VOD.
Yeah, I was so bummed because I was supposed to see it at South by Southwest. I mean, it was supposed to open there, and I think it probably would have been one of the biggest films to come out of that festival. It just feels like that kind of movie, on top of it being like a studio Judd Apatow film. But I think I agree with you. I think it definitely has the potential to do gangbusters on VOD, more so than some of the other films that have come out. Like I know Trolls did really well, but I think that was only because it was the first film.
It's a kids movie.
Yeah, well, it's also a kids movie. But on the flip side of that, I don't know how well Scoob did. And
I don't know
either. See, we don't know
that movie. But
like, I like it.
So, I think there's more of a following for Trolls, though.
Yeah,
like there's a lot of kids that love.
I haven't
Trolls.
even seen the first one yet. I mean, I've seen bits and pieces, but for King of Staten Island, is it coming out to own and rent, or is it just to rent?
I don't know, but if it's Universal, I'm assuming it's just rent because that's kind of how they've been doing the previous ones.
Really?
So,
okay.
I don't know. I could be wrong. If anyone in the chat knows, be sure to just let us know down there. But no, needless to say, I think we're all pretty excited for it. It comes out next week. Weirdly enough, next week is a stacked week for movies.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Artemis Fowl, boy. No,
Artemis Fowl. No, but I mean that's true. That's a big movie. That's gonna be for Disney. And then we have what was the Spike Lee movie?
Defy Bloods, yeah.
Is the Andy Samberg movie coming out next week too, or is that like the week
on Hulu? No, I think you're right. No, I think you're right.
Springs?
The Spring Break.
Yeah.
Oh,
I heard great things about that.
Palm Springs. Yeah. My good friend Zach Pope. He went to Sundance, and he said it was like one of the best movies that he saw at the festival. And I mean, I don't know. It looks like it's gonna be a great time. But I hope that's coming out this week. Man, this is awesome. What a great week.
A good week.
A good week.
This is wild. I never in a million years would have thought that like this lineup would be what we're excited for.
I know, right?
Lineup.
A Hulu original, like Judd Apatow.
Right. Like Artemis Fowl. Like
just
like
Artemis
Kenneth
Fowl.
Branagh adaptation. Yeah,
I just for months.
I know that poor movie. I hope it's good.
It's hilarious though. No,
okay,
it costs so much money.
Yeah, right. It's dumped on Disney
and it's on Disney Plus, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I am Phil asking, what villain do you think would be good for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2? Chris, let's start with you on this one.
Oh man, why'd you have to go straight to me? There'd be a lot of great villains in the Spider-Man lineup. I mean, not counting what the ones they've already covered, technically Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus. I would like it to be like one of the actual Spider-Men. I'd like it to be like a Spider-Man from the universe went rogue on them. I think that'd be kind of cool to see. I know we got the 2099 Spider-Man coming in, so a villain from his future, seeing future versions of classic Spider-Man characters would be a lot of fun. A Rhino would be cool to see. Just I don't know. I have to think about it more.
Yeah, as long as they bring back Paul Giamatti to voice the Rhino.
Oh no!
That's what I want it. I want it.
I'm not all about that.
Christian, who do you think would be a good villain for Spider-Verse 2?
Well, I know everyone's been on the Venom train for a while, but we're going to take a different avenue and go with I would think Kraven the Hunter would be pretty interesting.
Yeah. I think Kraven could be good for Spider-Verse 2 or the third MCU Spider-Man. Yeah. Either one would be amazing to see.
Yeah. So
but Hannah, what are your thoughts on villain for Spider-Verse 2?
I don't know, maybe no villain. I've been kind of digging the animated films that have been taking that kind of route and using it using that as a chance to kind of make the films more personable. Personal, like Ralph Breaks the Internet, Onward just did it. I loved that. So I think that'd be cool if they could write a really neat story to, just make it more, I guess, character based instead of we have a big bad, we have to fight. Even though, Spider-Verse 2 did a very good job at being super character driven and still having that big bad, but Yeah.
Well, I think that's an interesting point to make because you're right. I didn't really think about it, but there has been a trend. I mean, I knew the Frozen films kind of did that.
Oh, and Frozen 2 most recently, yeah.
Yeah. And I think it was weird because it's I liked where Frozen 2 was heading. And then when I kind of found out that there wasn't a villain, I was like, okay, I see what you're doing here. I think it could have been done a little bit better. But I think when it comes to that approach, you're right. It kind of depends on the story they're telling, what kind of interpersonal journey they're going on and whatnot. Maybe they could do something along the lines of Spider-Man 2, where Miles doesn't know if he wants to be Spider-Man anymore, and so he's kind of struggling with that. It'd be really weird to see a Spider-Man movie though without a villain. No,
that's what I'm thinking. Because it's a hero movie and need your villains, but yeah.
I mean, maybe they could take one of his lesser-known villains instead of kind of just recycling through, the popular villains over and over again. I mean, I guess we could see Morbius. I mean, I'd rather see Morbius in Spider-Verse 2 than the Morbius movie that is coming out. But
he's a cool animated. That'd be a cool character to see in the style that they've made for Spider-Verse.
Maybe bring up the Sandman again. I don't know. I mean,
Sandman would be cool.
Yeah. I was thinking Vulture, but I guess because they already did him in the MCU one, then maybe we don't need to overlap there. But did you guys ever? Speaking of animated Morbius, did you guys ever watch the '90s Spider-Man show?
Of course. Yeah. I love that show.
Okay, so take the Morbius arc in that, and then put it into the Spider-Verse show or Spider-Verse movie, and I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah,
agreed.
I would like that a lot, especially. I mean, it's on Disney Plus as well, so if you guys haven't checked it out, now's the time.
Yeah, I mean, it was that Spider-Man show, and then the X-Men one too was really good. But and then Batman Beyond, those were staples of my childhood. I just loved them, loved them so much. Okay, going on to the next question, guys. Remember to send in super chats or Streamlab tips if you would like to donate to Black Lives Matter, because all the proceeds from this are going to that. So I cannot comment on this question, but I'll throw it to you guys. Thoughts on Netflix's The Stranger? Have any of you seen it?
Nope.
I don't even know. I've never even heard of that.
I haven't either, unfortunately. But so sorry, Dennis. We can't answer that question.
I have not. Sorry.
But okay. Jacoby is in here. Thank you so much for joining, man. He asks, what is one critically acclaimed film that you despised? Interesting. Who wants to go first on this one? A little bit of a touchy subject.
I'm afraid to speak.
Well, you know what, Kirsten? You just spoke first, so you're going
no,
first.
No, please come back to me. I actually have to think about this.
I have a good one.
Okay.
Booksmart. I hate Booksmart. I can't with Booksmart.
Okay.
The hot takes.
I think it's so annoying.
But it was made for you. No, I'm just
it
kidding.
is not. Oh my god.
Just kidding.
I love that movie.
Those
That
like
is-
the musical cues during it drove me nuts because it seemed like it was every 5 minutes. The humor never clicked with me. It seemed like it was so pandering. That's why I was like,
Okay.
when I was
Interesting.
watching it, I was like, it's really trying to get me to like it. And it's just not working. And like, it knows it's trying to be charming, and like that's
Yeah.
what like kind of like the disconnect for me, I guess.
I will semi back you up on that because the first time that I saw it, I really liked it, and maybe it was like I was enamored with the fact that I was like seeing it at South by Southwest and everything. But then I rewatched it like recently, and I was like, the humor isn't really landing with me. Like it's just like it's charming. I think it's got a nice heart to it, and like you see a lot of Olivia Wilde's style as a director infused into it, if not a little too much style. But like, I don't know. I don't think it holds up on repeat viewings, and I know that's controversial for sure. But like, yeah, I don't know. I see where you're coming from though. Like, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys? Do both of you guys like Booksmart then?
I like
I do.
Booksmart. I enjoyed it. I just had a fun time with it. I could see why it didn't get nominated or any Oscar recognition, but I thought it was a fun watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Okay, but going back to the real question, what is a critically acclaimed movie that you despise? Who wants to go first?
Oh man.
All right, I'll take the bullet here.
All right,
Go ahead.
let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Okay, I absolutely love Star Wars. It's just there's one of the original trilogy that I don't really care for, and if that's A New Hope, I
I
think
knew you were
that
gonna say that.
The Force Awakens
As soon
is
as you said Star Wars.
yeah. It's I don't know what it is. I recognize its importance. I love it, but it's just I don't know what it is. I just don't like it as much as everybody else does. For whatever reason it may be, I've watched it, hundreds of times, and it never lands with me. But Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, of course, they do. But I would say that or Aquaman for sure.
Aquaman.
And
Well,
Aquaman
but
was pretty
Aquaman's-
divisive.
Yeah,
so-
I was about to say it's a
Okay,
little more
I would-
mixed. Yeah.
I just see a lot of people praising on Twitter. I'm like, it's just not for me. But yeah, I guess
think
it would
it's
be A New
comic
Hope.
book
It would be A
Comic
New
book
Hope.
Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Chris, let's hear it. What's
Okay.
the movie? What's
Mine's
the
is
movie?
pretty recent, and I don't know how everyone else will feel about it. Because of the recent announcement that handsome Ryan Gosling is going to be the Werewolf Man, and I'm like super excited for that. I wanted to go back and like revisit some werewolf movies, and I realized I never saw American Werewolf in London,
Wow.
and I had a hard time sitting through it. I really believe the only reason people like that was because of the amazing transformation scene. Other than that, it's filled with weird dream sequences, character motivations that don't make sense. Like there's a part in the movie where a friend just gets killed and the doctors are all like treating it all like happy-go-lucky, like, oh, you survived, you're fine, everything's good, we're gonna get you back America. And it's not a good movie. It's just the great effects and paying attention to the werewolf that is amazing. But other than that, I was just so surprised that this is like a classic, and I did not like it. Anybody
Yeah,
like American
wow.
Werewolf in London?
Haven't seen
I
it.
haven't seen it.
Okay.
I have not seen it in a long time, so
But,
I can't really
but-
comment on how it's held up.
I've seen Teen Wolf, the TV show.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I like the Michael J. Fox one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that one's good. That Michael J. Fox one's good. Yeah, I guess for me, damn it, I really was trying to think of one this whole time, and I can't. That's tough. It's easier to say what's a film that everyone hates that you love,
Yeah.
Because I feel
Yeah.
like that's, people are more inclined to like a wider variety of film, but like a film that's critically acclaimed that you hate.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's
I don't know,
very
and
tough.
this is always my answer, and I don't hate the movie, but it's just the one in recent memory that I go back to that I'm like, it didn't like hit me the way it hit everyone else, and that's Blade Runner 2049. I think it's an excellent
Thank
movie.
you. Yes.
It's a good movie, but like
No.
Yes, I agree.
I just don't like
love
it.
Blade
I just
Runner.
think the original Blade Runner is better, and
Wow.
2049 is a little bloated. It's definitely more like cerebral and stuff like that. It's a Denis Villeneuve movie. It's what I
Yeah.
expect from him for sure. But I think had he tightened it up a little bit, maybe it would have been a little more palatable. I don't know. I missed the noir feeling that I got while watching Ridley Scott's version of Blade Runner, and I think that while they kind of attempted to do it in 2049, it didn't quite hit the same. But it's a gorgeous movie, and it's a beautiful story, and I don't hate it by any means. It's just not, you know, it's the one where I'm like, I think it's a little overrated. So we'll go with that. Okay, Kieran Langer asks, have any of you seen The Lodge starring Riley Keough? It's a psychological horror. It is on Hulu now. Yeah, I saw
loved
The
it.
Lodge.
Oh, it's on Hulu
I
now?
loved it.
Yeah.
I hear some
Hulu.
divisive things about it. Is it a divisive ending, or is it like
Yes, there's a
Okay.
point in the movie where it
Yeah.
takes a huge turn, and I think that's where some people like was like, okay, I'm not into this. You're either into it or you're not.
Because I
Yeah.
literally saw like one video on YouTube where it was like The Lodge is trash, and I saw someone else like The Lodge is a masterpiece or something, and I was like, whoa.
It's not trash, but it is a deeply disturbing movie. It's a
Okay,
very
cool.
mean-spirited.
I didn't know it was on
film.
Hulu, so I definitely
And-
want to see it now.
I didn't know it was on Hulu either.
It's
and
a
I
movie
hate
with
horror
absolutely
movies.
no levity. Absolutely.
That was
Yeah,
one
oh,
of the
yeah, no,
movies
it's-
I was gonna see, and then the theaters closed, and I was
Oh,
like, oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, Chris, it would be good for like your ending explained series because that's like an ending that like you know you can, I mean, interpret it. I mean, there's multiple things in there you can interpret the way you want, but I think for me, The Lodge is just like, I don't know. I struggled with it. It's one that was like the more I thought about it, the more I liked it, but I'm still like not 100% sold on like the direction it went. I thought it was. I mean, one, it's
either you're
mean-spirited.
on board or you're not. Like
Yeah,
when
yeah.
that turn happens, you know.
Well, and I also found it like to be just like, you know, it's kind of gosh, I'm trying to dance around it because what my issue with it is it's very it's just the way it kind of handles you know, people struggling with a certain thing in their lives. We'll just put it that way. I don't like it didn't sit right with me. I was just like, this is just kind of off-putting and gross, and I don't know. I see what they were trying to do with it, but like it's just wrong, and I don't know. I didn't feel like any empathy for like the people that maybe you were supposed to feel empathy for. So I don't know. It was just, it's a really tough movie to talk about and dance around
It's a tough
like,
watch too.
yeah, I had a tough watch. It's
can't
just
wait.
like
Yeah.
Is it like
I'll tell you-
Nocturnal Animals tough watch?
No, Nocturnal Animals is a tough watch because of way different things. This is more like Hereditary tough watch.
I gotta watch that one too.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I forgot you haven't seen Hereditary.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
wow,
a baby when
man.
it comes to horror films, but like I do, you know, I'm slowly getting back into them. It's just, yeah.
Well, here's the thing about The Lodge. It's not a scary movie. It's just like, you know, more
Psychological.
It's a
Okay.
psychological film for sure.
I'll
So
check it
you
out
might be
on
able to
Hulu.
palate that
I'm
one.
gonna wanna
more.
do that one.
Sweet.
Yeah. Okay, so another question here from Tony Movie asking, have you guys ever seen Apollo 18? Very underrated found footage film. Have you guys seen it?
I wouldn't say it's under. Oh wait, never mind. I'm thinking of the Tom Hanks one. I'm like, it's not underrated.
Yeah. Yeah, Apollo 18. I don't know. I remember seeing that when it came out in theaters. I don't know why I went to go see it. I thought it looked terrible, but yeah, I didn't really like it. It didn't quite do it for me. It was just like, found footage horror movie on space this
haven't
time.
seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a one that could have been a Cloverfield film. You want to talk about movies
Yeah.
that like
Yeah.
that
I
had
know
the
what
makings
it
in it.
is, but I've never seen it. Like I've
Yeah,
heard a
it's-
lot about it, and I've seen like stuff about it. Hey, do you guys have those movies where it's like you feel like you've seen it because you know so much about it, and then like you just never actually like
Yep.
watch the
That's-
movie?
That's why I
Yeah.
didn't watch Star Wars till I was 22
Wow. Really?
because I just felt like I had seen them with everybody.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's a good
Okay.
point. No, I've definitely had that experience for sure. But yeah, Apollo 18. I mean, I haven't thought about it since I saw it back in high school. So there's kind of like, you know, my take on it. Okay, guys, continue sending in your questions, super chats, Streamlabs, all that good stuff. So going on to Josephine DeMarco, which director would have the best restaurant based on their filmography? Okay, this is interesting. Martin Scorsese, Tarantino, Christopher Nolan, Denis Villeneuve, or Yorgos Lanthimos. This is a great question. Who wants to
I
go
think
first
it's
on this
easy.
one?
Yorgos.
Yeah.
Oh.
You say
Yeah, I think
Yorgos.
Yorgos. Yeah. Yorgos is fucking weird, and I think he'd have some cool stuff at his restaurant. Like it'd be an experience.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
in and of
that's
itself,
true.
you know.
Would the main dish be like the spaghetti?
Oh yeah.
It'd have to be.
Gary Keoghan to like serve you.
Yeah, it's like you would have to eat it the specific way when he's doing like the. It's such a great scene. Okay, Christian, what's your pick?
It was oh man, this is tough. I'm gonna have to go with Quentin Tarantino though, because he's my all-time favorite director, right next to Scorsese. But I think he can make some pretty nice dishes.
Well, you just got to look at the food in his movie, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah.
Seriously though,
If Luca Guadagnino was here, I'd pick him. Luca Guadagnino knows how to make food look like the best thing in the world.
I never wanted. Yeah, the way he ate an egg. I always wanted to eat egg like that ever since I saw that movie.
Yeah. Oh, and you'd have the peaches on there for sure.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Someone.
Chris, what's your pick for this one?
I would have said Tarantino just because, like, when I think of his movies, he seems to have like at least a hamburger and fries somewhere in there. But Martin Scorsese pays like a level of attention to the Italian food. Like there's even a section in like I think it was Goodfellas where like he's mixing the sauce, but he's also running away from the helicopter at the same time. So
Yep.
I think I would like that Martin Scorsese restaurant.
Yeah, that was going to be my pick, was Scorsese. Not only because I love Italian food, but because of what you were talking about. It's like, it's not like Quentin Tarantino puts like a major emphasis on food, and it's great. It's like really detailed, and you can see like he knows exactly what dish he's serving you in this film. Whereas like Scorsese, it's a little more subtle. He kind of works it into the plot, and then also, have you guys ever seen? I don't remember what it was, whether it was like a cooking show or a late night show, where it's like him and his mom are like making. I don't know whether it was a pasta dish or like a chicken dish or something like that, but they're going up there and they're like cooking everything, and I'm just like, okay, the Scorseses, they would like kill it if they owned a restaurant. Like we already know it, that Italian, food would be friggin' amazing. But yeah, so that'd be my pick. And then Josephine DeMarco also asks, which female MCU character would you rather have as a babysitter for your kid? Gamora, Nebula, Scarlet Witch, or Black Widow? Can I say none of them?
I feel like Scarlet Witch would be good. She seems kind of like warmer than the rest of them, at least.
Right.
And Gamora maybe because of Baby Groot. Like she has like experience.
That's true.
That.
She has the
know.
That's a good point. I didn't think about the Baby Groot. She might be the and she could defend your kid. I mean, they could all defend your kid.
Yeah,
but,
they could all
yeah.
but like Gamora like knows how to like bring a kid into battle.
She'd make your kid battle ready. That's what we want.
Yeah,
absolutely. Chris, what do you got?
I don't think Black Widow would be bad, especially with her interaction with like Clint's kids, Hawkeye's kids, in Age of Ultron. She does have like a moment where she switches her personality from hard to really soft and sweet, so she could train them and be nice to them.
Yeah, that's damn. I forgot about that scene. You're right.
Like
Yeah,
all
she
the like
probably
the
would be good.
maternal moments in the MCU
Yeah.
is like just coming back to us.
I can't.
For this question and this question.
It's really funny because it's like for as I don't know about you guys, but it's like for as much as I kind of dislike Age of Ultron, it has some of like the most like heartfelt character moments in it.
Oh yeah.
Like a lot of the empathy for these characters kind of comes from that movie, which I think is just kind of interesting to think about because people often either forget it or just like write it off. But yeah, I don't know. That's Black Widow's a great choice for sure. I think, especially because she wants to be like, she can't have kids. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it sounds like she yearns for it.
Yeah,
She talked about it.
but she
Like
can't
Robin
have it. So yeah,
Scherbatsky.
you're right. Maybe that would be a good. Yeah, look at us digging deep into this question. Christian, who's your pick?
So I think this all boils down to what kind of kids you have. Like if your kids need to behave, or like if you have some little baddies running around, I'm gonna call up Nebula. Whip them into shape. I'm serious because it all depends. Like if you have well-behaved kids, go for Gamora, Black Widow, Scarlet Witch. But if you have some bad kids, call in Nebula.
Nebula would be fucking scary. It's like from a kid's perspective.
Yeah.
Like, imagine being a child and having like Nebula walk in the room. Like that's
That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
It's like having the Terminator as a babysitter.
If need be, she can protect your kids. But yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think God, Gosh, you guys all made excellent points. I think Chris, you really sold me on the Black Widow one though. That one, that one to me, I think would be either Black Widow or Scarlet Witch, because I think Scarlet Witch definitely is a little more. She's a little tamer than the rest of them, and you know what? She could probably keep them entertained while like doing nothing. You know, like she could be sitting there watching TV, but like doing something with her like powers or whatever.
But also, doesn't Scarlet Witch kill her own kids?
I know, but in the comics,
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So.
I was about to say, we'll see how she raises kids in the Disney
series. Yeah. Oh man, thank you for bringing that. I completely forgot about that. You're right. Okay, Colin asking, Us or Get Out? Which one do we prefer?
Get Out.
Hannah, let's start with you.
Get Out, 100%. Yeah. I like Us, but Get Out is more. There's more to say with Get Out.
Yeah.
Not to say that there isn't anything to say with Us or anything, but I think that Get Out, it stuck with me more.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Christian?
So I would go with Get Out over Us. I watched Us. It was like a few months after it came out on Blu-ray. I think I bought it during Black Friday sale, and I already knew the twist ending, but yeah, there was something about that movie. Like it's like a one-time watch, and then I'm good. Like I've watched Get Out at least 4 or 5 times. Like when I first went to go see it in the theater, it was pretty fun. Afterwards, this like older white guy came up to me. He was like, "Better watch out for those white women, son." I was like, "What are you talking about, man?" Like it's just a movie. But I agree with Hannah. Amazing. It does have a lot more. Get Out has a lot more to say than Us.
Yeah, that's true, Chris.
Yeah, Get Out's just more of a concrete film, and it's better structured. Us is nice. I like the movie, but there was just more gaping flaws with it than Get Out.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be the voice that says Us. I think both movies are excellent, but similar to like why I prefer Midsommar over Hereditary, it just felt like Us was Jordan Peele being a little bit more ambitious and taking things and I don't want to say a more creative direction, but it was like I felt like he had a lot to say with that movie.
Oh,
and not all of it probably landed the way that he intended, but it's like each time I rewatch that movie, I pick up on something new that he's trying to convey in it, and I think it's probably I think he makes some excellent points about like social status and class and using like metaphors from the 80s and whatnot to do that. I think is just genius. Not to mention, I think the tension. Well, I don't know. That's tough because the tension in Get Out is like unreal. But I don't know. I think both movies are excellent. But like if I had to choose one, I think I'd take Us. Maybe just for Lupita's performance also. But in Get Out you have Daniel Kaluuya who is amazing. But I don't know. Both movies are excellent though. I'll say that. Okay. Arkanize says thoughts on Her with Joaquin Phoenix. Chris, have you seen Her?
Yes, I have seen Her. I really do love it. And the funny thing is, like, my girlfriend has been begging me to watch Her, and I do like the movie, but it is long, and it is a very.
Is it?
I remember
it being super long.
Yeah, I didn't remember either.
We'll pull up.
Maybe
I remember. Well, it's because I see it pull up and then I see how long it is on the Netflix thing, and I'm like, that's a big chunk of my time. But then I also remember how it ends and how depressing it kind of gets, and it's one of those movies I don't get into for that reason. But I do like it. I think Joaquin was amazing. I thought it was Scarlett Johansson, right, who did the voice of the AI. Was also really well done. But I think it's a good movie.
It's only 2 hours and 6 minutes. What are you talking about?
It's like,
that's long.
I don't know.
Come on. But in his defense, for a movie that is like that is on the longer side. It's still not a long movie, but yeah.
My bad. Okay, sorry.
Hannah, what are your thoughts on Her?
I love Her. I don't love it as much as everyone else does because I know like film Twitter especially is like, oh my god, Her is one of like the best movies ever made, and I'm like, I think it's great. I watched it like twice, really liked it both times I've seen it. I think Joaquin Phoenix is great in it. I think it's his best performance. But yeah,
for sure. And Christian.
So I haven't seen Her yet. It is on my watch list. I've heard great things about it, so I'm just one of these days I'll watch it.
I mean, dude, it's good. It's a really good movie. Like, it
Joaquin
really.
Phoenix is one of my favorites too. So
Yeah, when you're sitting at home alone with the lights off in your sad boy mental state, and you pop on her, and you just get even more like emotional, and you start crying.
Perfect.
Sounds like I've been there before. No, it's such a great movie. Spike Jonze is an amazing filmmaker. He is so good. Have you guys seen Where the Wild Things Are? His version of
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that movie so much.
that. But again, it's such a depressing film
I know.
too. Like,
Yeah.
it's so
I remember watching it when I was younger and being like, oh, cool stuff. And then like watching it now that I'm older, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Okay, going on to some more questions here. Ben Law 90 asks, what was the first Blu-ray you remember buying?
Ooh,
Who's got an answer to this?
This one's easy for me because I just started like watching movies and like really like liking movies in 2016. I was very late on it. And the first movie which is my favorite movie of all time, the first movie that I've ever like been like, oh my God, I need to like have like physical this was Call Me by Your Name. So.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
for
okay.
sure.
nice.
That's so is that the film that kind of like sparked your love with movies?
Weirdly enough, Deadpool was.
Oh, okay.
Like for the longest time, I've enjoyed movies and they're just whatever to me. And then I went and seen Deadpool in theaters and like something just like clicked and I was like, oh my God. And then I watched like every movie review ever of like Deadpool and then I just kind of like spiraled from there and I was like, I think I like movies.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome. Christian, what's your first Blu-ray?
So mine if I can recall, I believe it was The Lion King because that is my hands down favorite film since I was a wee little lad. And I remember when I had my Xbox One and I was like, oh man, it's a Blu-ray player. I can finally start like actually buying Blu-rays instead of just buying DVDs. And that was like the first thing I picked up. And I think I actually picked up Django Unchained with it as well. Because I think that was out around the same time. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Chris?
So I'm not the biggest Blu-ray or physical media collector because that's an addiction on its own. I try to keep to just Funko Pops as my addiction because if not, I'll just run out of money too fast. But I do remember a Blu-ray I did buy like with my own money, not like with my parents or whatever, saying, "Hey, I want to get that." Was Kick-Ass. I remember just being so in love with that movie when it came out, and then when it was on DVD, I loved the box art with like how it looked with all 4 characters on there. So that was the first one I remember buying.
Yeah, I think for me, because similar to you, Christian, I had like DVDs for the longest time, and I held off on Blu-ray for a while. I actually thought HD DVD. Do you remember that with the red ones?
I
remember those.
Yes,
I know those.
Dude,
Yep,
I
remember that.
I thought that was going to be the way of the future. I thought that was going to be the film that like knocked
Everybody
out Blu-ray. Little did I know that like Disney had some stake in Blu-ray, and that's why Blu-ray won. So if we're talking about like high def DVDs like that, I think 300 was the first one that I had. But if we're talking proper Blu-rays, Star Trek 09 was the first one that I got, and I remember being absolutely enamored with that film. I mean, it was probably my favorite movie of all time at like, little 8th grade or 9th grade Griffin, losing his mind over the Star Trek. Who would have thought? So yeah, and J.J. Abrams and everything. And so, that movie was just like day one purchase. I was like, I fucking have that movie right now. So, yeah. No, I love Star Trek 09. It was great. So that was my first one. Guys, be sure to keep sending in your questions. If you can, be sure to send in super chats or Streamlabs donations down in the link below. As I'm going to continue to repeat throughout the stream, all the proceeds from this video are going to go to Black Lives Matter. So it'd be amazing if you can donate. If you want more information on other places you can donate or just like ways you can help, there's also a link in the description down below. So there for you. Okay, moving on to the next question. Dennis S. asking, what was the worst year for movies in your lifetime? Maybe excluding 2020.
I was about to say.
Yeah, 2020 is the automatic
That's
win
funny.
there. Yeah. Does anyone have an answer right off the top of your head?
I really don't because for the longest time, I mean, like Hannah, like I didn't start getting into movies until well, buying my own Blu-rays around 2012 when I was working at Best Buy, because that's when I had the most, financial help with that. But I can't really say, because within the past few years, it's like when I recently started getting like really into like, the Golden Globes and Oscars, what have you, all the other awards that go out throughout the year. But I can't really say I have like a year that's like the worst for films, to be completely honest.
Yeah, it's tough to think about because, like, there's so many years where it's like, oh yeah, I like that movie, and then there isn't really a whole lot that kind of comes out. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's
Yeah, I
tough.
don't know, Hannah. Do you have a answer for this?
I don't know. I'm looking through like my decade lists on Letterboxd, and maybe like 2014, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I think the same as Christian.
Yeah,
It's tough.
It's hard to say.
yeah,
I
it is.
always have
Yeah.
like favorite movies of like,
Yeah.
a lot of favorite movies of like the past years. So I don't.
Yeah, I can't say like, oh man, this is like a legit terrible year for like movies. Like
Yeah.
video games, that's a whole different story. I can talk about that all day. But films,
Yeah.
I can't really pinpoint that.
Oh wait, no, 2015 actually for me. I don't think I have
really?
like a movie in 2015 other than like Creed that I'm like madly in love with. So
So you're not a big Mad Max person?
That's
I
what was
am.
about
I
to
like
say.
Mad Max, but like I'm not like madly in love with it. Like there,
Yeah.
I don't know. With years with me, there's like usually movies that like come to my mind right away, and I'm like, oh my god, like I see that movie so many times, love that movie so much, and like 2015, the Creed is probably the only one for me in that year.
Yeah, for sure. Chris, do you have one?
The only ones I'm looking at of movies that don't stand out, I think is like 2011. I'm going through the Wikipedia page of like the top movies of that
2011
year.
was kind of rough. Yeah.
And in 2011, yeah, I mean, I think that was the year the artist one also is like. But yeah, I
Hey,
think you're a
I
fan
like
of the artist.
that movie.
I love
I
I love that movie.
Sorry.
Yeah, man, I don't know. 2011 is kind of tough because like I love the artist, I love the girl with the dragon tattoo, but like yeah, there's not much else. Yeah, shit, I'm trying to think what the hell else came out. I think what was it? 20 damn it, I had it. What year was it? Was it 20 was it 08 or something like that? I don't even remember. Yeah, I don't know. 2011 might be mine, or
08 was the start of the cinematic universe.
yeah,
Don't
I
go
know. It's
there.
kinda hard
I'm
to
just
go with
kidding.
08. 97. I don't know.
97.
We'll say that. I don't know. I just pulled that one out of my ass. I just know that Batman and Robin
That was
came out in
Titanic and Men in Black, Good Will Hunting, Boogie Nights.
97.
Yeah, that's what it says
Yeah,
here.
but we also got Batman and Robin, sir. So you know,
Okay.
I
like
think
Good
that
Will
takes
Hunting,
Yeah.
But Batman and Robin erases Goodwill Hunting. So
All right.
Oh Lord.
okay, I see we got a super chat here. So let's try to address that from Damon. Thank you so much, man. Really, really appreciate that. He asks, are there any comic book movies, third acts, that you would redo to make the movie better? I would go with Black Panther or Wonder Woman. Love your streams and your guests. Well, thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Great question, by the way, because it's something that I think I personally think of a lot. I'm like, this movie is like one act away from being like perfect, and I think you brought up two great picks there. I don't hate the third act of Wonder Woman as much as other people, but I do think the third act of Black Panther is the weakest part of that film,
Really?
other than the ending. I think the ending's beautiful, but like the actual battle stuff is just like I don't think it's good. But so maybe Black Panther would be the one that I adjust, but I don't know. Do you guys have answers for that?
I think
I think
Guardians 2 for me.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
I-
Yeah.
I like a lot of Guardians 2, but the ending is so like other than like the very last like 5 or 10 minutes, like Yondu's like send off and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
like the like big like supposed to be like battle or whatever.
Mhm.
It's whatever for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. It is a little like similar to Black Panther and Wonder Woman. The emotional beats hit for sure,
Mhm.
but like when it comes to like the climactic action and whatnot, yeah, it gets a little messy. Christian, do you have an answer?
So I would probably go with, I mean, I guess like an obvious thing would be like BVS, because like I really liked that movie, and then the third act kind of it was just too much for me. Like trying to cram in, Superman Doomsday, and then you had the Dark Knight
Kill
Returns,
Superman.
and it's. I don't know. I would probably go with that or Black Panther. I didn't really care for the CGI in Black Panther, especially the third act. It just kind of like you said, it's a great film and it sends an amazing message, but it could have been done better for Black Panther and obviously for BVS as well. So I guess those would be my 2 picks.
Yeah, BVS is a good one for sure. Even though I don't know, I go back and forth because I like the climactic action. Like that movie just feels big. Like it feels like a superhero epic. And if you watch the Ultimate,
more Zack Snyder inside of
yeah. And I love the Ultimate Edition of it. So but I get it. Yeah, maybe it was a little too much to kind of throw in there. But Chris, what's your answer? You cannot choose BVS. You're not allowed to
choose BVS. No, I have a couple. A couple ones that come to mind. Spider-Man 3. I mean, just the Russian of what they did with Venom. Maybe just leaving him out and teasing him for the next movie, even though we probably wouldn't have gotten it. There's a lot they could have done there, especially with like the Harry turning good stuff and like, I got you, buddy, and throwing him to the Sandman. Just some of that stuff that didn't click well with me. This one might be controversial. Dark Knight Rises. I guess I wasn't a huge fan of like how all that wrapped up and came together, and the love story between Bane and Talia and all that stuff there. But
how dare you?
I knew it. That was coming. And probably the one that was surprised no one said Josh Trank's Fantastic Four, because most people would say first half is actually a pretty good movie.
I like blocked
that.
I definitely blocked that from my memory.
But I guess it is 2X. But if you fix the third act, you just have an okay middle act.
Yeah, but the middle act fundamentally breaks the movie. Like it's just, But no, I think that's a good point. So I guess for me, the third acts that I would fix, I would say, as much as I actually enjoy the film, I think on repeat viewings I've liked it less, and it is The Amazing Spider-Man. The movie doesn't really, like the first one? The first one. The movie doesn't really hit that high of a climax. I think the stuff in the middle and the beginning are much better. Like I love the school fight between Peter and the Lizard. That's really fun. I just wish the final battle had something more interesting going on. I guess it's supposed to be small scale, but like I don't know. And then not a comic book movie, but a movie that I think just completely derail. Like it's got a lot of issues, but completely derails in the third act is Spectre. Spectre just like fucking whatever direction they were heading in there, it just completely falls off the rails, and that movie just breaks.
I thought you were going to say Glass.
Actually, thank you for bringing that up, because that movie, I guess it is a comic book movie too. Glass
or
also
origin story. Whatever.
Would you still have Bruce Willis die via puddle?
That didn't click with me in the theater. Like when I was watching it, I was like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with this. And then I got home and I started thinking about it, and I was like, did he just like die from like a fucking puddle? Like I was so like, I don't know how it didn't click with me in the theater that like what was going on, but Jesus,
that was like my
Christ,
first movie I saw
insane.
in the Dolby Theater too. I was so upset.
I
was like, oh my god,
bummer,
Dolby,
man.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Glass is that's just an anticlimactic, disappointing movie. It's especially, it just felt like and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it's like Split was a really clever idea to kind of tie it into Unbreakable. But then he was like, oh shit, people are buying this. Now I got to write Glass and like say that I've had this trilogy planned for years. And it's just like, well, I don't think you really did. But
I think X-Men Days of Future Past is kind of, the ending of that is kind of underwhelming.
Oh, really?
Now that I think about it, yeah, because I think when I think about Days of Future Past, I like, kind of compare it to First Class a little too much because I love First Class so much, and I'm like thinking about like the ending of that, and then like Days of Future Past, and then Apocalypse, and like the endings just kept getting worse.
Yeah, that's I don't know.
Especially Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah, Apocalypse is.
Yeah,
I
Apocalypse
don't-
is a whole nother beast in itself. But I love like the first like 2 acts of Days of Future Past. I love everything about it, and like the ending, like I can't even remember it now if I like try and think about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I haven't revisited it in a while, but I am kind of blanking on. It's more of a. I think why I don't hate it is because like the X-Men have always been about, like dealing with civil rights and social injustices, and so it's like when you get to that like climax where it's like Professor or Magneto and Raven and Professor X, kind of having like a philosophical, or not a philosophical, but like ideological debate going on there. It doesn't make for great action, but I don't know. I still thought it was pretty powerful. So I don't, but I get what you're saying. It maybe they could have like tackled it in a different way for sure. But yeah, guys, keep sending in your questions here. We're gonna try and get to as many of them as possible. Kieran Langer here asking, did you guys hear about Ari Aster's next film and how it'll be a 4-hour comedy/horror? How do you guys feel about his movies? Hereditary and Midsommar are two of my favorite films ever. Love his aesthetic. Who wants to go with this first? Do we have Ari Aster fans in here?
Oh yeah, I like
yeah.
what he does. I think he's ambitious, and just like you said, with what Jordan Peele was doing with Us, as Ari Aster's really trying to push the horror genre.
Mm-hmm.
But he can say he wants a 4-hour movie. I just don't think a studio will grant him that to release with the way time slots work, and especially now with how movie theaters will operate once this whole pandemic is over. So I'm all up for it, especially if it's a horror comedy, because that sounds kind of interesting for him to do, especially if you know his style. Very gory. But I feel like this one might end up on a streaming service, same way like a Scorsese did with The Irishman.
I was gonna throw out Netflix.
Yeah. That's a good point. And actually, before we go to you, Hannah, I do want to say, I think so. A24 has like a deal with HBO, right? Is it HBO or is it or is it like Hulu or something? I know HBO has been doing series, or they've been helping produce series.
Oh,
on a certain
Euphoria
platform.
was HBO.
Okay, all right. So it is HBO.
Euphoria was A24. Sorry.
Yeah. So what if he takes this 4-hour-long concept and makes it into a 4-episode miniseries on HBO? That sounds more likely, and then he can release a version that is 4 hours long. And so if you want to watch it as a 4-hour-long movie, you have that option. But it's also, sectioned off into like 4 1-hour installments. That's kind of where I see this going.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, Hannah, what are your thoughts on the 4-hour-long movie, and then also just Ari Aster in general?
I'd be down for it. I mean, I don't mind long movies. I don't like bitch and complain about them. I'll watch. I don't
Is
know.
that a shot, Hannah? You take it?
No, it's not a shot.
I'm kidding. Yeah.
Even with like The Irishman like coming out last year, like there's so many people who didn't even give it a chance because of the length, and I'm like, why you guys just stop bitching and moaning and just like either you're gonna watch it or you're not gonna watch it. Like, there's no need to be like, oh my god, it's 3.5 hours. So yeah, I don't mind it, and I think Midsummer, I like Midsummer. I don't love Midsummer. I think that some of the best parts of it are the comedy. Will Poulter's great in it. So yeah, and even Hereditary, things that I guess, I don't know, it's hard because Hereditary, I watched some of it and I'm like, there's parts of it that I think are funny, and maybe they're like supposed to be like intentionally like funny but not funny. I don't know.
Like that scene where she tells him I didn't want you born, or I forget what she was telling her son when she was yelling at him. Like that made me.
That is not funny.
the way it came off, I thought it was
my God.
hilarious. Okay, my bad.
I'm talking about like
That is
her
dark
hitting
humor.
her head on the door.
Oh, okay.
And like
well, just the mother
other
admitting that out of
things.
nowhere, I thought was okay. My bad.
He said, "I'll shut up now."
You're sick, Chris. You have a sick sense of humor. How dare you? That's actually horrible. Chris, what are your thoughts on this one?
So I'm down for it. I've seen Midsummer. I own Midsummer. I've been looking for the extended version to watch of Midsummer. Haven't seen it anywhere.
It's on Amazon, I'm pretty sure.
Is
That's
it
where I
not on
watched
your
it.
Blu-ray?
No, it's not. It's I think it's just the whatever the theatrical cut was. I'm pretty sure.
I thought for sure it was on
I'll
the
have to
Blu-ray.
double check. But
Okay,
I
if
want
it's
to
not, If it's not, I know that the digital version of the movie, if you bought it like on like iTunes or something like that, or whatever, or if you use the digital code, it comes with the extended version.
Oh, I'll have to check on my video account then. But I do want to watch Hereditary. I think that's on Amazon Video, I believe.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
So I definitely want to check that out. But I'm down for a 4-hour horror comedy. I think a mini series would be amazing.
Yeah, miniseries. I can't even believe that.
Like her wall of. I was like, whoa. Yeah. But yeah, mini series I think would be the best route. Like Hannah said, there are a lot of people out there who didn't really even give The Irishman a chance, and it's like instead of complaining about it, either watch it or don't. And if you're not, just shut up about it. Because I mean, I'll sit there and watch Lord of the Rings extended versions all day long. I will never get tired of those movies. As long as the pacing is good, I'm down for it.
Yeah, that's what I say. If it's like if the pacing is fine, then I don't really care. It just seems weird to like shun a movie away just because of like the length. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree. Well, and the funny thing is a lot of these people who are complaining about the length will be there day one to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, or
Lord.
you know, are championing Endgame or want like 4-hour long Avengers movies, and it's just like, okay, well, you
keep
might want
that same energy.
Yeah, keep that same energy when we go to other films. Okay, Zeke Gonzalez Anzaldi asks, what movies have been spoiled for you prior to seeing them? I got The Force Awakens and Endgame spoiled. That sucks for Endgame, man.
Damn.
Yeah.
I also got Endgame spoiled for me. Because I was just on like YouTube, and before like leading up to Endgame, like I kept watching like a whole bunch of like press interviews and stuff like that, and I guess that kind of like made my algorithm think that I just wanted like purely Endgame content. And somebody uploaded the shot of Iron Man with the Infinity Gauntlet, and it was called like I Am Iron Man. Like the video is called that, and the thumbnail was literally that. And
Done.
And I saw like in passing on Twitter Grace Randolph's video like about it, and she was like,
God.
"Oh yeah, it's like what's it called? Back to the Future." And I was like, "Fuck." Like, even though we all like kind of knew that it was gonna be like time travel, like it wasn't confirmed. So like that sucked.
Thanks.
Yeah. Damn, that does suck. Yeah, Christian, do you have one that you got completely spoiled for you?
Yeah, so when Infinity War came out, one of my roommates at the time went to go see it a day before me, and then literally I was like, "Oh, dude, like how was the movie?" He was like, "Oh man, all this crazy stuff happens," and he's talking about Spider-Man's death, and I was like, why would you just why? And I also got what was it, Rise of Skywalker? Well, the big twist of Rey being Palpatine's granddaughter, because again, the same friends.
New friends, man.
On Facebook,
or just don't talk to him about movies at all.
I kind of just like, he was on Facebook. He's like this super long rant, and like I know he was complaining about the new Star Wars through Disney, and I thought it was something like that. And then it was like within the first like line or two, I was like, oh, man, I had the movie ruined for me. So I was more upset about Infinity War because about Spider-Man's death and about everybody, turning to dust. But it really does blow. Like, it just sucks when people spoil things for you.
Yeah, I know, and especially when like those things leak online and then you just accidentally stumble across it and you're just like, what the fuck? Which is actually how I had The Force Awakens spoiled for me too. Han's death was spoiled that way, and I was just like, well, all right, I guess. Okay, all right. I tried to wipe it from my memory, but it didn't happen, and
it sucks.
That sucks. Trying to like make yourself forget it, even though like, there's no way.
I know.
There's no way.
Every time I have a movie spoiled for me like that, the same thing happens. I think I've had The Sixth Sense spoiled for me. I had The Others spoiled for me, which that sucks because that's the fucking amazing ending that that you don't expect to see coming. Trying to think of what other films have had spoiled for me. I've actually had a lot, but
I had Interstellar as well. My uncle like told me the
What?
entire plot. He's like, "Oh, you guys see this movie? It's about this guy like
That's how
literally
my
just
dad
continues
explains
to tell me
movies. I
everything."
hate
I was
it.
like,
That's the thing. It's like people. It's like when people are trying to explain the movie, they're always just like, "Well, let's just explain what the twist is." And I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
that completely ruins the film."
I accidentally spoiled Arrival for somebody. I felt
Oh.
so bad. It was my aunt actually, because she was like, "Hey Hannah, do you have like any like cool like movie recommendations?" And I was like, "Arrival," and then like we just like she started asking me questions about it, and like it accidentally spilled out, and I felt so bad. I was like,
Wow.
"Fuck!" She's gonna.
I spoiled
felt
a
so
few
bad.
movies.
That sucks.
accidentally,
Speaking
too,
of
yeah.
Arrival, can we just acknowledge that film has one of the cringiest lines of dialogue
Which
ever,
one?
like in the placement of it, when like Jeremy Renner's like, "Let's make a baby" during this like great
Oh,
emotional
yeah.
moment. It's like why
Jeremy
does that
Renner.
exist? Why is that there? Like, I get what you're going for, but like it completely botches the moment for me.
That's never bothered me, but now when I rewatch Arrival, it's gonna stick out. Now that you just said that.
I watched it the other
Let's make a
day.
baby.
I was
It's
like,
just-
"What is he talking about?" Just
I know, it just like it completely like removed me from what was going on. I'm like, damn it, you almost had it. You
That
were
was
this
probably-
close.
It's like,
Like
"Hey,
a
little mama, let me
studio
whisper in
note.
your ear."
So
Yeah.
it was like, so the general audience knows the loop of this guy's the future father.
Yeah, we have
You're
to make
so
that
right.
connection.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're so right. That does
Just
sound
in
like a
case people
studio
don't know what's going on.
note. Yeah, right. Because people are dumb. Chris, what's a movie that got spoiled for
One that I was hearing a lot of buzz about, and I had a friend of mine who's also into movies, but he explained it to me in a way that it just kind of ruined the way I watched the film. Was he's like, "Oh, you got to check out this movie, Ex Machina. It's about like an evil AI robot," and just him describing it as an evil robot. You watch the movie, and you're supposed to wonder, is the robot, who's the real villain, the one who built the robot, which was Oscar Isaac's character, or
Mhm.
it was the actual. And so me just knowing that it was evil the whole time, when it came to the end and the twist that she was using the character to escape, it didn't hit me as hard as it should have, because I knew the girl was evil the whole time.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
That's like such like an accidental one too, though.
Yeah,
Like that must have sucked because
it was. I was like, she seems so nice. When is she evil?
yeah.
like one word is all it took
It's like
for you
an
to like get it
upgrade
spoiled
when you're
for
kind
you.
of
That's a good point.
Oh, upgrade
It's not
as well could be up. Like
yeah, kind of. So I mean, I guess I won't say anything for anyone who hasn't watched
No,
it.
yeah, because there's not enough people who've seen Upgrade. You should go see it.
Yeah,
That's true.
go
People
watch
should
it
watch
over
Upgrade.
Venom. Thank you very much.
Or you can watch Venom too. Venom's a great
Yeah.
romantic comedy. I love it.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Damon here asking, love your streams. TV question: are y'all into Rami on Hulu, Dave on FX? If not, I recommend. And what are you watching TV wise right now? Well, do any of you guys watch Rami or Dave?
I keep
Dave
seeing it on my
all
Hulu,
the way.
Yeah.
and I
Seriously,
want to
like,
watch it.
don't sleep on Dave. Like I know it's like a guy YouTuber and this like funny rapper, but like, and this might just be the white guy in me. I'm sorry, but it's like I like it better than Atlanta. I think it
Oh,
has
wow,
like that kind of
okay.
same vibe, but I think he does it pretty well. We're only one
haven't
season
watched
in,
it.
but like I really dig Dave. I haven't seen Rami though, but I hear good things.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the main guy in that one, like the Golden Globe
That's
and
where
the
I
Emmy.
first heard about it.
yeah. Same last year, and that's another A24 show, I believe.
Oh,
So
Is it?
yeah, I think so, because I remember them like posting stuff when he won and like promoting the new season. But
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Cool.
yeah, but anyway, so Chris, you would recommend Dave then?
yeah, highly recommend Dave. All good.
Cool. Christian, have you seen either of these shows? And if not, what are you watching on TV other than 13 Reasons Why?
So no, I have not seen Rami or Dave. One of my friends watched season 1 of Dave. He said he really likes it. He recommended me to check it out, so I definitely will. I regrettably started watching Space Force.
Ugh.
I got
I am the
to-
only one that likes Space Force.
I got to episodes. Yeah, I've seen Hannah's, and that's
honestly,
totally fine.
it's honestly
glad
it's
you
just
like
Ben
it.
Schwartz. That's it.
Ben
Yeah.
Schwartz, okay.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Yeah, but I would say
Yeah, I've-
Doom Patrol will be my number one that I haven't seen. But I got like to episode 7 in Space Force, and I was just like, I just couldn't do it anymore. It just wasn't for me. But Doom Patrol, for sure. Again, I mentioned Big Bang Theory, rewatching that one. But any other shows? Oh, I finished Rick and Morty season 4. A few days
Oh,
There you
ago.
go.
I loved Rick and Morty.
Absolutely love it. Yeah. So that would probably be my 2 picks.
I wish I liked Rick and Morty. I'm sorry.
Really?
I just
Oh,
can't
no.
get
Yeah, me
into it.
too. My brother
Oh,
loves
come
it,
on.
and I
Solar Opposites is really good as well. That's on Hulu if you haven't checked it out.
So basically, you're just telling everyone to go watch shows on Hulu.
yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like.
Do you work for Hulu?
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
HBO Max.
Where's that Hulu money coming from? Hannah, have you seen Remy or Dave? And then if not, what are you watching?
No, I've seen them on like my Hulu recommended page like a bunch though, and I want to watch them. And I've heard like
Yeah.
really good things about Dave. What I've been watching, I kind of went down a spiral after I watched the 3 episodes of Middle Edition Shorts on Netflix. I went down a spiral and I started to rewatch Silicon Valley. And I love Silicon Valley. I still do. I've rewatched it a whole bunch. I think it's one of the most rewatchable shows that I've ever watched. And then House of Lies. I started watching House of Lies, and that one's pretty good. But Don Cheadle, he's the main character, and Ben Schwartz is in it. And yeah, that's been pretty fun.
Yeah, and are those all on Netflix?
I've been watching House of Lies on Showtime, and then Silicon Valley is HBO, so that's on HBO Max. Yeah.
HBO Max on that. Yeah,
And then Middle Edition Shorts is on Netflix.
is on Netflix, right? Yeah, that which I agree with you it's fucking genius. It's so funny.
I've been trying to recommend it to everybody, and it's hard to like sell it and be like, well, they're like, is it like a stand-up comedy? And I'm like, no, it's long-form improv. And then everyone's like. And I'm like, just watch it.
Honestly, like I
What's
feel
it called
like the
again?
Middle Ditch and Schwartz, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I almost love the just like long form improv version of it. I don't know. To me, improv is like so entertaining to watch in general. So it's like if you can do like a whole like series or show like kind of based around that, I think it's brilliant. And just those two guys are just fucking
They're
comedic
so good
geniuses.
together.
They're
Yeah.
so funny. You know what it's almost like? It's almost in it's not exactly, it's not 1-for-1, but it's almost like watching Whose Line, but without like the prompts, you know?
Oh, I like Whose Line.
Whose Line is it anyway? Which I don't know. Whose Line is it anyways? Was like one of my favorite shows growing up. Just
Same.
like watching that. It's
I remember too.
so funny, so fucking funny.
I still
wish-
watch some of those clips sometimes. I think they're funny.
Yeah. Do you ever? I always go back and I rewatch the ones where Robin Williams came on.
Yeah.
Oh my god! If you just want a great laugh and like go down a rabbit hole, just go back and watch like the best of Robin Williams on Whose Line Is It Anyways? It is, oh my god, it's so
Good
funny.
stuff.
It's unreal. All right, guys, we're gonna take a few more questions here, so send them in, and then also if you haven't done so already, be sure to send in a super chat, maybe a donation via Streamlabs, or you can donate directly to Black Lives Matter. Link in the description below. If you are looking for more information about how you can help the movement that's going on across our country right now, there is also links in the description below as well. So okay, moving on here. We have Jay Camacho says, do you think X-Men should be a series or a movie? I prefer X-Men so we can get more time to know all the I think you're saying I prefer series so we can get more time to know all the characters. Hannah, movie or series for the X-Men?
I think it could work either way. Obviously, with the movies, we've already had the movies. I think it'd be cool to see it in a series form, just because we already do have the movies. But yeah, I don't know. I really want to see a Disney MCU X-Men movie, though. I think that more people would watch it that way. Because I already think that with like the MCU TV shows, that a lot of people aren't going to watch it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they have to really test the waters with those shows first and see, like, where the interest is. Like, are people receiving them well? I guess the follow-up question to that would be, would you want to see the X-Men movie take place in, like, say, the 60s or something like that? Have it be a period piece, or do you want it to be, like, present day?
I don't know. I think that's hard because you have, like, the whole, like, Magneto thing that, like, if you do anything else, then it's going to be not okay.
Right.
So, I don't know. X-Men is going to be hard for, like, to work into the MCU for sure. Like,
yeah,
I don't think we're going to see it anytime soon because of that.
Well, and then the other thing that comes to mind is, like, how do you incorporate them into the MCU, a world that's been around for, like, 10 years or so, over 10 years? It's like, how do you
just say mutants are popping up. Yeah.
Yeah, like how do you just say that they're just now like appearing? It feels, I don't know, it feels weird. That's why I almost feel like it has to be a period piece, you know? I feel like the Fantastic Four and the X-Men should be period pieces, and you tie those into Hank Pym and Ant-Man, and then there's your through line, and then you can kind of bring in, you know, other X-Men later down the road and not really have to worry about explaining it, you know?
Yeah.
Chris, what are your thoughts on this?
I'd prefer them in movies. A series would be cool, but I always just go back to, even though The Mandalorian has great production value, is just, you know, be shorter amount. The production wouldn't be as high. I would like to see the characters grow more, but when I think about, you know, the X-Men, I do want to see what the MCU would do, just out of curiosity of explaining how their existence fits in and whatnot. And just like when it was exciting to find out, wow, Marvel's finally touching Spider-Man. There's a caveat to that because Sony still has final say on what happens. You know, with X-Men now, there's like nothing at all. It's like full frontal, whatever they're going to do with it. And I hope they just bring Cyclops front and center because that's my favorite X-Men.
Yeah, I guess this is the thing, is like, who's going to take a front seat, who's going to take a back seat? Are they going to change stuff up? Are we going to get the classic Wolverine costume?
See, no, I think because of how popular Hugh Jackman is, that Wolverine will take a back seat for the meantime, and they'll focus on like lesser X-Men to bring them forward.
Yeah,
I hope they don't even bring in Wolverine, honestly.
I'd be okay with it. I don't need to
Me
see it. I'm
too.
kind of like Wolverined out, to be honest with you. It's like, he's great. Hugh Jackman is great as the character, but it's like, I don't know, Logan's a perfect movie, and like I don't want to see any other interpretation for a little while.
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna say. Like, what can you do that's gonna be like more interesting than Logan?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
you know,
exactly.
especially in like a PG-13 like MCU sense, you know.
Yeah. Christian, what are your thoughts on that? Do you want to see it as a series or a movie?
So it honestly, you know, like everyone's been saying, it depends on how Marvel tackles this, because I know that they had mentioned, excuse me, that a lot of their newer shows are going to be tied into their movies. So it's like, do they play it safe and, you know, go the TV route and then slowly introduce them into the MCU, you know, through their films, or do they just pop up out of nowhere? I'm really interested to see how they're going to incorporate this, especially with Blade as well, because, you know, like, have they always been there, or is it like a new thing? Is it some type of like after effect, or some type of thing that happens, you know, after people are brought back after the snap gets reversed?
That's the best way to explain it, is
And
like people who brought back from the snap have like a little mutation in them or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
That's what I
that
heard
could
for
be-
a long time.
That could be
was
smart.
that.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I don't know. Maybe you know, they get brought in some kind of way from like a different multiverse through the Watchers. There's so much stuff that can. But I would probably choose a movie over a TV show for sure.
Yeah. No, I think I'd probably agree with you with that. I think you know, you could definitely do a TV series or a TV show similar to what he was saying about, and then you can spend more time with each of the characters. But if they're gonna be worked into the universe at large, give them a movie. You know.
Yeah.
I see we do have a super chat, and I will get to that in 1 second, but I do have a quick question here from 402-1971 asking favorite foreign film not spoken in English. Does anyone have an answer off the top of their head?
Parasite.
It's gonna go with Parasite. Yeah,
So easy.
okay. All right. Anyone else?
Raw. I love Raw.
Raw?
It's a French film, yeah.
Is that the one where she's the
It's a cannibal film.
Yes, the cannibal one. Yes, yeah. I was about to say that. Yeah, she eats
I
something.
love
But
it so much.
yeah, Raw's a great movie. I remember when I remember seeing that a little while back, but yeah, that's a good movie. Chris.
You probably not. Maybe some of you will. It was on Netflix for a while, but being Hispanic, I had to see this one with my parents because they like the actor. It was called Instructions Not Included in English, but it was a Spanish movie, and it was just about this father with a daughter who has like an illness, and then him just spending the last few weeks with her without her, the little girl, knowing that she's dying.
That sounds really
beautiful.
depressing.
Yeah, it sounds beautiful and
and it was in
depressing.
Spanish. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
I said
Yeah,
Roma's
for
a
sure.
good one too.
Yeah, Roma's
Yeah.
amazing. And And I guess the other one that I really liked was what the hell was it? Life is Beautiful. The one with the hell is his name? Roberto Benigni, I think is his name, something like that. That's a really touching movie. And then also recently Son of Saul, I think is incredible. Son of Saul is so good. So those would be two that come to mind. There's so many that I just like don't immediately think of, but
Incendies for me. I forgot to mention that. Incendies.
Oh shit, yes, Incendies. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. If you are a Denis Villeneuve fan at all, go watch Incendies.
Yes.
It is it's fucking spectacular. Okay, Strictly Starlight here with the super chat. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. She's saying, "Hey guys, great live. Who are your top 3 actors or actors and actresses?" All right, moment of truth here. Who wants to go first?
Oh, this is
I have to get like a list together in my head.
We gotta compile this, do some research. Let's see.
I would
this is
say,
tough.
I have actresses on the top of my head. I can do that.
Okay.
Amy Adams, Viola Davis, and someone else.
We're one away. So
Somebody
close.
Natalie Portman.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say. I mean, for sure, I want Jake Gyllenhaal in there because whatever he does, I really do enjoy. Andrew Garfield, I absolutely love as well. I'll throw in Viola Davis in there. I know you only said 3, but I just have to slide in Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey is the man.
Absolutely.
He's so good. I just recently rewatched The Mask for like the first time in years.
I rewatched that the other day too. Me and my sister, we had a ball watching it. It's so fucking
fun.
good.
It's
so
ridiculous.
Funny.
Yeah, and it's like the effects, like for the '90s, still kind of
They
hold
still
up.
hold
Like
up.
it's.
I think it's because the effects are supposed to be ridiculous in the first place. Like they're never supposed to look like realistic, and I think that's why they still hold up.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and just like what he's doing in them, like everyone's always like, oh, Ace Ventura, yeah, this is Jim Carrey's like coming out party as an actor, and I'm like, no, The Mask that came out like a few months later, that's like his like arrival, as like a comedic legend, like that. He's literally doing a one-man show for like 90% of that movie. It's fucking unreal, that movie.
I have actors on the top of my head too. I can do Jake Gyllenhaal, Michael B. Jordan, and I had a good one. God.
It's always that last one that gets you.
Fuck. If I think about it, I'll throw it up.
Yeah. Christian.
So for actors, I would go Leonardo DiCaprio, always my number one.
Yes, of course.
Christian Bale, and it's happening to me too.
It's the last one. Yeah.
I would Joaquin Phoenix, and then for actresses, Amy Adams, of course, and Natalie Portman. I do agree with. I'm blanking on the third one. I guess I would say of recent memory, probably Florence Pugh, for sure.
Florence Pugh is amazing right now.
Yeah,
and I guess it's tricky because it's like, are we just talking like actors working today? Or are we talking about like some of like royalty and stuff like that?
I just did like some like most recently. Bill Hader was my third, by the way.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was waiting for Bill Hader.
I don't know how that escaped.
I thought it was gonna be Timothée Chalamet.
Oh yeah.
Are you saying that because I'm young? Wow.
Well, no, because you're a big Call Me by Your Name fan.
Okay,
that's why.
yeah.
No. And a little bit because you're young. No.
There you go, Chris. There it is.
Throw the tattoo up.
Throw the tattoo up. I think for me, Michael Fassbender has always been my favorite actor, just ever. Dude does not get enough.
For one too.
He does not get enough work. Like,
I
what the
agree.
hell is he doing? Like, what is?
I think that's his fault, though. I think that's his fault. I don't think that's anyone else's fault but his. He picks awful projects for himself.
You're not wrong. He's very, very select.
Without Steve McQueen, I think that he's lost his way.
Yeah, and it's such a shame. He's God. He's
Hunger
such a good
and
actor.
Shame is hands down my favorite performances from him, and I think it's because Steve McQueen was like, "Hey."
Well, did you see Macbeth?
Oh yeah,
the
I
version
like
of Macbeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was excellent in that too. Speaking of which, Marion Cotillard is probably one of my top 3 favorite actresses working today. I love her. But yeah, for actors, let's go Michael Fassbender, Leo, and then yeah, we'll give a throwback. I love Jimmy Stewart, and I think there's nothing like watching a movie with Jimmy Stewart in it. There's just like he has this energy and charisma that is very, very rare to find in a movie star, and you know it's kind of impressive how versatile he is. Like he can be like, you know, your everyday kind of like relatable you know, guy, but then like he can also tap into a darkness and like a creepiness inside of him, and it's like something that you don't necessarily expect from him. So I've always loved Jimmy Stewart for that reason. For actresses, yeah, Marion Cotillard, Lupita Nyong'o is slowly not even slowly, she's quickly becoming one of my favorite actresses ever. Like she is unreal. And then Helen Mirren also is just,
of course,
she's amazing. She is so good. So those would be 3 that I can think of right now, and I don't even know if they're like, you know, my favorites of all time, but those are like 3 that I just absolutely love. But but thank you for the question. That's a great question there, and one that's like so hard to think of off the top of your head. It's just like, who are your favorite actors? Damn it. You take a few more questions here, guys, and then we can start closing this one out. So make sure they're good. Make sure they're good. I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to close out on some bad questions, but you guys have been good so far. So, let's see. Going back up here. Okay, Bopple asks, Batman 89 or Batman Returns? I'd go 89 for me personally.
Yeah, 89 for me as well.
89.
I might go Returns. I think I watched that one more. Yeah, I think I watched that one more. I like them both just about the same though. So
yeah,
I just gravitate towards that one whenever I want to watch it. Returns. I mean, gravitate towards Return more whenever I want to like rewatch Batman movies. So
interesting. Because I think for at least for me, while I think Returns is a good movie, it's like really unsettling for me to watch. And I think it's just because it doesn't even feel like a Batman movie. A lot of the time, it just feels like Tim Burton doing whatever. And I like Tim Burton, but like Danny DeVito's Penguin is like really disgusting, and
it is.
And like as much as I love Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, like she kind of creeps me out too, and I'm just like I
that's
feel,
kind of the fun of it.
Well, I know. Well, no, yeah, but like I just feel uncomfortable watching that movie.
I get you.
Put it that
I think
way.
that's a through line for me, is that like movies that are like weird and gross and like shouldn't be like rewatched a whole lot. I do that.
Yeah. No, I get it. There's like something.
I rewatched The Killing of a Sacred Deer so much. Like it's ridiculous how much I rewatched The Killing
do
of a
that?
Sacred Deer. I don't know.
I don't know if I'd be able to listen to Colin Farrell tell that story about what was it? Was it his dad or the and the sexual thing? That was. I'm just sitting there. He's like delivering it just like so, just like matter of fact. I'm just like. What? Like, no, this is not okay.
I don't know. There's Yorgos films in general. I think that I shouldn't rewatch them as much as I do. Dogtooth too. Let me stop.
Yorgos, he's good though. I do like him, and there's a quirkiness to him that I absolutely love. Well, actually, while we're talking about Yorgos, what is your favorite? Is it Killing of a Sacred Deer?
Yeah. Killing of a Sacred Deer is one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. I love Killing of a Sacred Deer so much.
That's a good one. Christian, do you have a favorite Yorgos film?
I can't say that I do, and I'm blanking on his movies like right now, and I'm sorry.
I know you haven't seen Killing. I remember talking to you about it, and
I haven't seen that one. But I definitely gotta watch Killing of the Sacred Deer, but I actually can't even think of any on the top of my head right now. I'm sorry.
I mean, I think it's like the favorite, The Lobster, Dogtooth.
I've seen favorite, so I'll go with the favorite. I love that movie. I do want to watch Lobster though as well. Yeah.
Chris, do you have one? Do you not even care?
No, what are you saying that? I'm cultured. I didn't realize the favorite was one, so I'm gonna go with that one.
Sure. Okay.
I did really like that.
Question here from Chandler Langley. We'll probably take like one or two more, and then we'll start closing out. So send in your best questions, guys. Chandler Langley asking: has there ever been a film that was so hard for you to criticize that you needed someone else to help you assist your criticisms?
Wow.
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know, Chris. Do you have an answer to this?
I mean, that's kind of a weird way to phrase it, like that I needed someone's help, or like that I needed someone's justification of why I hated the movie so much, I guess.
Yeah, it's like
Say
you need to
what they-
bounce ideas off of someone.
I'm trying to. This is a hard one. I guess it would have to have been the first Suicide Squad when that came out, just because like you have to remember, it looked like they were kind of maybe on a high swing with Wonder Woman and all that, and then that came out, and it just like made me lose kind of all hope. So I'm gonna say that one.
Yeah, I don't know, Christian.
Man, this is a hard question. So hard to criticize.
I know, because it's like I don't even know personally if I've ever
Maybe
like,
got
needed-
one.
I don't know if I need
Yeah.
anyone's help.
Midsummer for me, it was hard for me to
Okay.
like talk about it and like gather thoughts on it because I watched it and it took me like 3 days to even really like have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
Because there's just it took me so long to even try and think something that the movie might be saying or might be about, and I don't know. I had to bounce off. I had to bounce ideas off of somebody. I can't remember who it was, but it was a friend, and they're like, maybe it's feminism, and I was like, yeah, sure. And I went with that. So
Yeah. Well, I think that's interesting because I think there's a difference between, asking someone to help you review and bouncing ideas off of someone. Because it's like one is like it's not entirely your words or your thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So it can kind of influence how you view the movie. Whereas like the other, when you're just bouncing ideas off of someone, it's kind of like you just throwing like all the things that you're thinking at a wall, and then like someone else can kind of like take that and kind of like help you formulate, I don't know, sentences or words or whatever. So I think there definitely is a difference. But Christian, have you?
I guess I would have to go with Suicide Squad because I know we've talked about that a lot on our podcast, but with me and my co-host, he likes it, I don't. But I mean, I guess it's kind of the same as just doing a review with someone. You're bouncing ideas off of each other and trying to come up with a reasonable score of did you enjoy this movie or did you not? So
Yeah.
I guess it would be Suicide Squad. I'm kind of drawing a blank. I'm sorry.
No, I think it's totally fair because I don't know if I've ever actually like experienced that, but I have had conversations with friends and colleagues and whatnot where it's like they've helped me kind of like change my view on a certain film by bringing up points that I hadn't even considered before. Yeah, and I think that there's a difference between that and like literally someone like assisting and holding your hand as you review something. I just feel like as like a critic or like a film commentator on the internet, the whole point is for you to have your own voice and formulate your own opinions and ideas. And so like if you're having someone hold your hand the whole time, like that kind of defeats the purpose.
It's like what?
So yeah. I don't. Yeah. So okay. Let's see. Let's try to take two more questions here, guys. One here from 402 1971 asking favorite opening scene from a movie. For me is Touch of Evil. So what do you guys? What are your favorite opening scenes from a movie?
This might be. Go ahead, Christian. No, you go.
No, I would say Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith. Absolutely.
That's
love
a good
that
one.
opening scene. It gets me every single time. So it's that would be my pick.
Yeah, that's a good one. Revenge of the Sith is a great opening. Hannah?
I think American Animals. It's one that has stuck with me for a long time. I've never felt so like unnerved just watching the beginning of a movie before than I did watching American Animals, because you really are just trying to piece everything that's going on like in the opening, because it tells you nothing. It just kind of throws you right in. So yeah, I really love the opening with American Animals and Infinity War. That's like a generic answer, but every time I like restart watching Infinity War and I watch that opening, I feel so unnerved again. So good.
That's a good opening.
I guess it's tricky because it's like opening scenes. It's like some of them are really long, some of them are like kind of segmented, and so like how do you kind of define what the opening is? Yeah, I don't know. Chris, do you have one?
Yeah. While you're thinking, two that come to mind. One is definitely Scream, the first one. That's
Yeah,
just
that's
a
a good one.
great
That's
opening.
iconic. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Dark Knight with the Joker bank robbing scene.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Yeah,
great.
the bank
opening.
robber scene is really good. Even in the Dark Knight Rises, that the Bane,
True, the plane,
Bane
yeah.
plane heist or hijacking is really really good. I think for me, I love the opening to American Beauty so much. Just like the narration over what's happening. It's like, well, I'm dead, and you're gonna find out why I'm dead. And it's like, it's just I just love. First of all, I love that movie, but to have a movie open like that, where it's like you already know the ending, and it's just like kind of figuring out how you get there. It's yeah, I love that. I also I love the opening to Casino Royale, both the the cold open before the title sequence, and then like the action sequence that comes after that.
Oh yeah.
I shit.
What else?
Prisoners.
so many-
for me too. Prisoners. I
Prisoners,
love Prisoners.
Oh,
opening.
Prisoners has a great opening scene.
Mhm.
Yeah. You know what? The opening of Dunkirk is
Yeah, it's a really
unreal.
good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. When it just literally drops you straight in the streets, and then you just like go with it. It's like the whole sequence up until he finally gets to the beach. Well, actually, up until they cut away to the next segment. It's just like, fuck, what is gonna happen? It's like you could cut the tension with a knife. It's unreal. And then I think, speaking of war films, I think another one that's really obvious is like Saving Private Ryan. Like that's arguably the best part of the movie. That opening scene. It's the storming on the beaches of Normandy is just fucking visceral and unreal. So
The Lion King for me too.
Yeah, The Lion King's good. Yeah, Lion King's
I would
really
say
good.
Django Unchained is a pretty awesome opening as well.
Yeah, Django's great.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for bringing that up, because Inglorious Bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
yes.
a good
Yes.
Yeah, there it is.
Absolutely.
There it is. That's the unanimous one. Okay, a few more questions here, guys. I see we got a super chat. I will address that in one moment. Real quickly, MBR is asking, will Bond talks be coming back? Yes, they will be coming back. We took a little bit of a break just because of everything that's kind of going on, and Brody and I are sort of regrouping. But yeah, you should expect one next week, so don't worry about that. Let's see. Let me go to the super chat. Whoops. There we go. Jake Camacho asking, favorite movie theater snacks. So I'm the weirdo that doesn't
I hate
usually
you.
get food
How?
when he goes to the theater.
I know.
I'll get a bottle of water and sit in my chair.
I have no idea how you do
So
that.
I'll defer to everyone else. But okay. Before I do that, if I were to get one, it would just be a small, buttered popcorn, everything. But yes, Chris, I know you have a go-to movie theater snack. So what is it?
Nah, it's chocolate raisins with popcorn. I really like it, and a slushie.
Okay.
But I just like the fact that you can watch a movie without having to eat anything is like, I
I've
can't
done
do that.
I've
It's a
done it lot of
distraction.
times, Yeah.
I just want to focus on the movie. Actually, I don't know about you, but like I usually find that I'll get the snack and I'll eat it before the movie even starts.
That's true.
So it's
It always happens to me.
Yeah.
I hate it.
But yeah. But anyway, sorry, Hannah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No. I don't really eat all that much when I'm at the movies either, because I work at a movie theater. So
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I'm kind of surrounded by it all day, and when I
Get
go,
over
I'm
it.
like maybe popcorn, and that's it. Yeah.
Have they
'Cause if
told
I-
you when
if
you
I
get
drink-
to go back to work?
On the 12th actually, but it's gonna be different because we're not gonna be like playing movies or anything. So, and I don't
Oh.
work at a big chain; it's an independent theater. So
Oh, that's still cool.
yeah. And I can't drink
Yeah.
anything at the movie theater because I have the smallest bladder in the world, and if I drink anything, I will have to use the bathroom
Yeah.
like
You have to
3
pee.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure. Christian, what's your go-to?
I would say it would probably have to be Twizzlers. I don't always get it, but if I know that I haven't like eaten before going to the theater, I just eat them during, or not even during, way before the movie even starts. Because I mean, it's a small little pack, but I'm not a big popcorn guy. I like caramel corn, but I would probably just have to say Twizzlers and some water. Nothing too crazy.
Oh.
Man, Chris, you're the crazy person here.
I am.
Like,
As you were talking, I was thinking to myself, even if I let's just say I went to Olive Garden and I filled up if I go to the theater right directly, I'm still buying a popcorn, even if it's small. Just 'cause, like, I just cannot sit there without munching on something. It's like,
I get
Man.
distracted because like I'll start hearing my own chewing instead of like the movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it drives
true,
me
yeah.
insane. Like,
wow.
I
Or it's
don't
like
know, I
even
can't.
sneaking in
I
stuff.
guess I'm crazy. I'm sorry.
You
You don't want
it's
to be
fair
like
enough,
drawing
fair enough.
attention, like you're opening up like your Twizzlers, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Oh my god, I hate that.
That's
Somebody
the
with
worst.
social anxiety. Somebody with social anxiety. If I can like hear myself and like nobody else in the theater is making any sort of noise, I'll leave. Like I can't.
it's like okay,
Yeah,
we're done
no,
here.
I agree with you. Well, also the worst one is like when you're sitting in a movie like A Quiet Place and people are just like
Yeah.
rummaging around in their stuff. It's just
Oh,
Seriously.
could you have picked like a worse
Like,
food to eat right now?
Someone sneezes. No, someone sneezed in my movie theater, and there was like 5 people to shush them. When we went to go see A Quiet Place,
Oh.
I was like, oh my
Someone
god.
sneezes. Like,
People are taking this very seriously. I
Yeah.
mean, I was, I was into the movie. I was in the zone, but I was like, it
Yeah.
did feel kind of off because everybody was quiet the entire time,
Yeah.
and then you hear
Yeah,
one little
yeah.
thing of noise, and it's like, shh. So
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Real quickly before we take a final question, John Early here. Do you think The Living Daylights is better than License to Kill or vice versa? Yes, I do. The Living Daylights is Timothy Dalton's best Bond film, and then also The Living Daylights is one of the best. It's like top 10 Bond films for me, so I love it. It's a great like Cold War kind of espionage thriller, whereas like License to Kill is more of like a action heavy revenge flick, really super intense. Really, both of those films are the precursor for the Daniel Craig era. But yeah, no, I freaking love The Living Daylights so much. I don't know if any of you have seen either of those films and care to comment, but I'm
Not a big
just
Bond
assuming
fan.
that most of you
No, you're
probably
good.
haven't, because they're two of the most like obscure Bond films that like most mainstream audiences haven't seen. So I don't know. Okay, so let's see. Okay, this is a great one from Shifty right here, and we will probably close out on this one. So, Shifty asking favorite score to a movie. He's saying Oniatrix Point Never is insane. Yeah, for Uncut Gems and Good Time, both amazing scores. So, favorite film score, guys. Who wants to start with this one?
Suspiria for me. Suspiria 2018.
Wow.
Yeah, that or
Yes.
Arrival. It'd be hard. And Black Swan.
Black Swan's really good. Yeah. All three are phenomenal picks. Great choices there. Christian.
one that comes up in recent memory, I'll just say Joker, just because I really did enjoy the score in that film. I can't really, I don't know, when it comes to scores and films, like unless it like really hits me, I don't pay too much attention to it. So yeah, I would say Joker.
Yeah. Chris, what about you?
The one when I think about the most recent scores, not going like with the classics that we all know are great. I think of like the Mad Max one, because it just fits so well with like the intensity of that movie. Like it was the type of score that made you tense up with the film and the action. So I remember liking the Mad Max one a lot.
Yeah, those are all great ones. I love all like the David Arnold Bond scores, all of the John Barry Bond scores. Those are amazing. A lot of fun to listen to. Hans Zimmer is probably my favorite film composer. So like Inception and Interstellar are just beautiful, perfect film scores, and that just beautifully complement the film. Let me think. Well, Pirates of the Caribbean. Listen, it's cliche, but that man, the first three movies especially, like those scores rock so hard. They are amazing, and they're classics for a reason. At least I think they are. But then I'm also like a big Thomas Newman fan. I loved his 1917 score. I think that's probably the best score he's ever done. But like American Beauty. That score is unreal. It is just sublime. It's perfect. I love it so much. So, and a quick follow-up to that. Sorry, I keep saying we're going to close this out, but there's a great follow-up to this. So,
you're fine, man.
this will be the last one. Okay, so speaking of film scores, favorite MCU score, which is actually an interesting question, because I think sometimes the MCU, I mean, rightfully
Lacks
so, they
in
get a lot of...
scores.
Yeah, they lack their scores. There's a lot of flack that they get, but there are like several entries in that universe that have incredible scores. There is no doubt. But Chris, let's start with you. What's your favorite MCU score?
I mean, it's the only one that I could like even hum off the top of my head would be the Avengers one. It just that's the only one I think that really like stands out and did good. I think maybe I'm trying to think the Captain America one, but I wouldn't be able to hum it off the head. But I know if I heard it, I'd be able to. Specifically, the one from Winter Soldier. Those are the ones that come to mind.
Yeah, the Winter Soldier one's really, and all the Cap ones. Well, the first two Cap ones. I think Civil War, for whatever reason, they didn't reuse the theme from either of the two movies. I was just like, what? It's the same composer. Like, what is happening? Why did we do this? Yeah, Hannah, do you have a favorite MCU score?
I would have said Thor Ragnarok for the longest time. I really love Thor Ragnarok score. I know a lot of people don't, but I think it's gorgeous, especially the worst scene in the movie. I think has the best piece of music, which is Odin's little fucking flyaway thing. The music there's beautiful. But now I would say Far From Home. I love Far From Home score. I think Mysterio's theme alone is just, I can listen to it all the time.
It did do good there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think honestly, both Giacchino Spider-Man scores are like top tier, but especially Far From Home. Oh, it's so good.
It's so good. Oh, man.
And then before I go to you, Christian, I'll throw out the Ant-Man scores. I think the Ant-Man scores are so fun. They're great, and they're consistent with the theme, which I like, because a lot of these films get new composers and then they just discard the themes. But Christian, what's your choice?
So, the obvious answer would be the first Avengers, but I would have to say, I think Guardians of the Galaxy. From what I remember, I really like that score. But Ant-Man would be another one from the Ant-Man movies as well. Obviously, Thor Ragnarok, as Hannah already mentioned, but I'm trying to blank on a lot of these, to be completely honest. It's been a while since I've done an MCU rewatch, so.
Yeah, I feel like it'll probably still be a while for me, because it's just like, okay, well, we had Endgame. I'm gonna take a break for a while.
I don't know
I'm gonna go
watch the MCU like in its entirety though. Like that seems so crazy to me, because I like have like my favorite movies in the MCU, and I rewatch those, but like rewatching it as a whole, like
it's a lot of work. Yeah. And you have to sit through like some of the ones where it's just like not that great. Yeah. Like obviously Thor: The Dark World, but then I don't know. Like I'm not a big fan of Doctor Strange. I'm just like, meh. So
I kind of liked it. Yeah.
It was my favorite in the MCU.
I mean, it's not my favorite, but I can understand why people don't like it.
Yeah, for sure. With that, guys, I think we are going to close out on another incredible Saturday live stream. Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you to those who donated, either via Super Chat, either via Streamlabs, all that stuff. We really, really appreciate it. And just know that your money is going to an amazing cause, Black Lives Matter. It's, I'm just trying to do what I can to help an incredible cause and help amplify, diverse voices and whatnot. And so by doing this and like getting your support and you guys donating, it really, really, really means a lot. You guys are a fantastic audience. So thank you so much for that. Before I give my final closeouts here, let's go around everyone. Thank you all, everyone, for joining me. Where can everyone find you all, starting with Hannah?
My Twitter is @moviesandcats, and then I'm a part of the Cinemania World podcast, so check that out. It's available on all streaming platforms, and it's @Cinemania World on Twitter.
Yep, there you go. Definitely, she has amazing takes on Twitter. I just have to say,
thank you.
Honestly, the greatest takes. she will shut shit down. It's amazing. I get such a kick out of.
You're
just,
like the only person that I've told me my takes are great. Thank you.
No, it's
like the world isn't ready yet.
The world isn't ready yet.
Okay. The world isn't ready to love Far From Home or It Chapter 2.
Both are good movies. I don't understand.
I know.
Oh man. Anyways, Christian, thank you so much for joining me, man. Where can everyone find you?
So you can find me on my personal Twitter @MusicCityNerd. You can also find me over at the Film Optics Twitter, and we also have our own podcast available on all platforms. Optics is spelled OPTIX. Just realized that I accidentally misspelled it there. I have a little bit of dyslexia, so. But yeah, you can find us over there at Film Optics, and yeah. Thank you for
I
having
just
me.
now realized that you misspelled it there.
I looked at it, I was like, no. Like, if I leave the stream and fix it and come back, I don't know.
That's
But
funny.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to thank Griffin for having this, and thank you for everyone who did donate to the Black Lives Matter cause, because it's been rough for a lot of people. I just want to thank you for having this. I don't want to get
absolutely.
too emotional,
Yeah,
No, for sure. Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure, and I hope both of you can come back again sometime. But before I give my whole spiel here, Chris, Mr. 3C, the infamous 3C film reviews. Where can everyone find you?
Just a dork. You guys can find me at youtube.com/3C Films or on Twitter at 3C Film Review. I'm just like everyone else.
He likes to say that, but really, we all
I got
know.
lucky.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence, sir.
No.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much to each and every one of them for joining. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed this stream, be sure to give it a like, share it with your friends. If you're watching this on the replay, consider donating to Black Lives Matter, the global network. There's a link down there. There's also a link down there where you can find more information on how you can help if you can't donate directly through through monetary needs and whatnot. So definitely do that, and then consider subscribing to the FilmSpeak channel. We like to say that the conversation continues after the credits, and that's part of what makes discussions like this so much fun. So if you can relate to that and you're looking for more insight, interviews, and analysis on your favorite films, you're definitely in the right place. Consider hitting that subscribe button. And then also, guys, if you like me specifically and you like what I have to say, you can give me a follow on Twitter at Griff Schiller. All right, you all have been amazing, and we will catch you next week. Take care.
Did you rub my land?
1,000 generations living here now.
Here we go.